ஒரே ஒரு ஸ்டெப் மட்டும் கொஞ்சம் அவுட் பண்ணு, கொஞ்சம் அவுட் பண்ணு. இப்போதான். ரைட். சரியில்லையே. Right. How was the test? Tell me. எப்படி கஷ்டமா இருந்துச்சா இல்லை ஈஸியாக இருந்துச்சா? ஆடிபிள்ல பத்தியா? How many questions you can attempt out of 100 questions? 50 questions. Is there any number of questions which you have to compulsorily attempt? Is there anything like a strategy that you have to attempt these number of questions? Definitely. See, it changes. That earlier and all, we would recommend the students to attempt at least 80 questions to 85 questions. But however, with the passage of time, when you look at the nature of the questions which started coming in the last 3 years, especially 2021 and 2022, this 2021 and 2022 was an eye opener for many, because there is nothing like minimum number of questions which you have to attempt to clear the exam. If you look at the cutoff marks, how many marks you have to score to cross this barrier called prelims? How many marks you have to score? What is the cutoff for 2021? What is the cutoff for 2021? 2021, what is the cutoff? 100 எல்லாம் இல்லவே இல்லையே. 80s, 87, 88, like that only. Less than 90. So if you have to get less than 90, you have to get 45 net. You have to get 45 net. To get that net 45, I should attempt the question very safely without any much risk taking. I should not take a wild risk. I should not have any compulsion to attempt X number of questions. The number of questions which will have to be attempted will be decided not before the examination, but in the examination hall. You have to decide the number of questions you are going to attempt. So the first point is very clear. There is no fixed number of questions which you have to attempt mandatorily. It has to be decided by you right in the examination hall. Right? So don't go with a preconceived notion that I have to attempt 80 questions, 85 questions. 45 questions net, it should be right for you. If I know 50 correctly, I will attempt only 50. I will not take any risk. I will attempt only 50. Because if I take risk, I may end up becoming negative. Understood? So risk taking is a very, very important thing which you have to learn during the test batch. How to take risk? Because my risk is one limit. I have a risk in a particular limit. Another person's limitation of risk is not same as that of the first person. He has another type of risk which he has to take. So individual centric strategy you have to evolve based on the number of questions you are going to attempt. One size does not fit for all. Don't go by what others are telling. In the test batch, you have 69 tests. 22 tests for GS prelims, 13 tests for your CSAT, and 34 for your mains. 69 tests you have. So in the 22 plus 13 tests, 22 GS plus 13 CSAT prelims tests, you will be knowing which is your safe limit. What is your safe zone? Beyond which I'll be caught. That is the first lesson which we have to learn through the test batch. And the second lesson is, as I have told earlier, that it is about knowing the unknown. Because in the real UPSC, questions are constructed in such a way that from the known portion, they will ask you the unknown dimension. Example, Contempt of Court Act was asked in 2022 prelims. But which commission recommended this Contempt of Court Act was not emphasized in any standard material. But that was one of the statement. The other statement can be easily attempted by all, whoever learned Contempt of Court Act. But without knowing which committee recommended this Contempt of Court Act, it was not possible for the student to attempt this question. So, from the known, you have to go to the unknown, is what is a very important philosophy of life. From the known, you have to go to the unknown. I don't know everything, I know only little things, but based on the little things, I will be able to try to go to an unknown territory logically. So, logical mind will have to be developed in the test batch. Logical mind, what is logical, cannot be explained, it has to be experienced. And that is why test. எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் பண்ணணும் நீங்க. ஏன்னா லாஜிக் அப்படின்னாலே அது ஒரு காம்ப்ளெக்ஸான மென்டல் ஃபினாமினா. அதை ஈஸியாக நீங்கள் எக்ஸ்பிளைனே பண்ண முடியாது. நான் ரியல் எக்ஸாமினேஷன் கண்டிஷனில் நான் என்ன தப்பு பண்ணுறேன், நான் என்ன மாதிரி யோசிச்சா ஐ வில் பி மேக்கிங் ரைட், that I will have to learn through the test batch. And most importantly, why there is a need for a test batch, it gives you a clear-cut timetable for what you have to study, without which our study will become distracted. It will not be focused, unfocused, it will be so diffused, so scattered. Because I know that today, Sunday, I have to read these portions, I have to write test for these portions. From Monday to Saturday, I will read only those test portions. The biggest problem for an aspirant is to maintain the consistency in the preparation. Consistency means what? Why consistency is lacking, because most of us do not have a clear-cut timetable for what they have to study today, what they have to study tomorrow. And that is why little bit of dilution of our preparation happens. This test batch will give you discipline. It will give you discipline. I am completely focused. I have been given a target, because target and goal setting is very, very important for efficiency, for better performance. So goal setting is very, very important. The timetable is the goal which you have to achieve. Question comes, sir, what should I study when you don't make a timetable? We have made the timetable in the form of test batch. So your timetable we have made, and therefore follow our timetable. You will find that you will be revising the entire portion minimum 4 times. In the timetable, there is a revision component for 4 times. If you religiously follow the timetable of us, you would have revised 4 times, without which it is difficult for a student to revise 4 times. Right? So, what we have to begin? We have to begin with an end in the mind. All successful people begin with an end in mind. End is what? I have to target 100 in my prelims. 100 I should target for my GS prelims, and I should easily cross this 66 out of 200 in my CSAT. Because many students they just tell that they lost their attempt because of the CSET. So I will be, after writing, I should be comfortable enough to tell that I will clear this prelims, then only I will have the motivation to prepare for my main examination. If I am like a cat on the wall, if I am like the cat on the wall, I will not have any motivation to prepare. I'll wait for my result to come. Result comes, I clear the prelims. Now there is no time for me to prepare for mains. I'm sure shot I'm going to fail in the mains, because I have not started my mains preparation before my prelims. So the best strategy is to complete significant portions of your mains before your prelims. In the timetable of us, we are giving importance to mains till the notification, after which we will be only focusing on prelims. So September, October, November, December, January, around 4 or 5 months you will be balancing both prelims and mains, after which when you see the timetable, we will give importance only to prelims, because after notification comes, there is no point. February 15th or second week normally notification will come. There is no point in studying for mains after the notification, because that is the crucial time. Once notification has come, power packed prelims preparation will only help us to clear the prelims examination. Many students I have seen that just they have not cleared prelims. Once if they clear prelims, sure shot they'll enter the service. It is the prelims which is the nuisance for them. அதுதான் ஒரு பெரிய ஹெட்டேக்கா இருக்கும். prelims clear பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா straight away சர்வீஸ் வாங்கிடுவாங்க. We ourselves have seen our students 5 தடவை prelims 4 தடவை prelims பாஸ் பண்ணவே இல்லை, 5ஆவது தடவை prelims மெயின்ஸ் இன்டர்வியூ IPS வாங்கிட்டாரு. அப்போ நம்மளுக்கு prelims அப்படிங்கிறது தான் ஒரு பெரிய ஹெட்டேக்கா இருக்குது. Mains relatively will be easy. We have given in the form of METIS mains modules we have given. Most of you will be knowing. And the METISங்கிற telegram channel, if you are there for UPSC, we have started a telegram channel called METIS. Adila we have compiled the subject wise fodder points. For example, paper 1 society only 50 page, paper 1 history some 60 pages, paper 1 geography only 71 pages. Likewise subject wise we have compiled. இந்த கம்பைலேஷனை ஒரு தடவை ரீட் பண்ணி டெஸ்ட் எழுதுனீங்கன்னா மெயின்ஸ் ஈஸியா பாஸ் பண்ணிடலாம், ரிலேட்டிவ்லி ஸ்பீக்கிங். இந்த ப்ரிலிம்ஸ் தான் ஹெட்டேக். அதனால வித் ப்ராப்பர் ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி we should be clearing this examination. Practice is much more important than everything else. படிக்கல எழுதல அப்படிங்கிற ஜஸ்டிஃபிகேஷன் நம்ம கொடுக்க கூடாது. படிக்கலையோ படிக்கிறீங்களோ, கம் ரைட் தி டெஸ்ட், லேர்ன். தெரிஞ்சுக்கோங்க. டெஸ்ட் அப்படிங்கிறதே நான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் நான் செகண்டுங்கிற போட்டிக்காக இல்லை. This test batch is not to give you a competitive spirit. Actually the test batch is to give you a proper timetable to study, first of all. And secondly, the test batch will have to help you to overcome the fear of exam. நமக்கு எப்பவுமே இந்த எக்ஸாமை பார்த்தாலே பயமா இருக்குது. அது சின்ன வயசுல இருந்தே அப்படிதான். We have been reared in that way. எக்ஸாம் அப்படின்னாலே கை கால்லாம் நடுங்கும். அது யூபிஎஸ்சி அப்படின்னா உச்சந்தலையில இருந்து உள்ளங்கால் வரைக்கும் நடுங்கும். அது அப்படிதான். அப்போ அந்த ஃபியரை ஹவு ஐ கேன் ஓவர் கம் திஸ் ஃபியர்? ப்ராக்டிஸ் தான், ஓன்லி ப்ராக்டிஸ். when you are fearing something, think that it is your opportunity. Anything which is causing fear is an opportunity in life. Write this in your mind. எதெல்லாம் எதை பார்த்தெல்லாம் நீங்க பயப்படுறீங்களோ அது எல்லாமே ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டிஸ். Eat that frog. You have read the book, most of you or some of you. Eat that frog. Frog is the thing which we avoid because it is very ugly. Frog means ugly. Ugly means what we avoid. So anything which we avoid is a frog. And we have to eat that ugly. We have to eat that frog means we have to do what we fear of doing. Do what you fear of for doing. You will clear this exam. Not only that, you will come up in life. வாழ்க்கையில ஜெயிச்சிருவீங்க. எக்ஸாம்ல பாஸ் பண்றது இல்ல, லைஃப்லயே பாஸ் பண்ணிடுவீங்க. டோன்ட் ஃபியர். வாங்க எழுதுங்க. நெகட்டிவா வரட்டும், ஓப்பன்லி we will see. நெகட்டிவ்ல இருக்குதுன்னா நெகட்டிவ்ல இருந்து எப்படி பாசிட்டிவ்க்கு போறதுங்கிறத யோசிப்போம். 60 தான் வாங்க முடியுதா? எப்படி 80 போலாம்? 80 வாங்க முடியுதா? அடுத்த டெஸ்ட்ல உங்க டார்கெட் 85. அப்ப மை ஃப்ரெண்ட் ஹஸ் ஸ்கோர்ட் 110. தேவையில்ல. நான் இன் கம்பேரிசன் டு மீ ஐ ஹேவ் டு டெவலப் மை செல்ஃப். அப்ப there is nobody who is competitor coming from outside. I am my competitor. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டெஸ்ட்ல நான் என்ன மார்க்? செகண்ட் டெஸ்ட்ல இம்ப்ரூவ் ஆயிட்டேனா? தேர்ட் டெஸ்ட்ல அதை விட பெட்டரா இருக்குதா? ஃபோர்த் டெஸ்ட்ல அதை விட பெட்டரா இருக்குதா? இதுதான் தட் இஸ் வாட் இஸ் தி இம்பார்ட்டன்ட் திங் விச் யூ ஆர் கோயிங் டு கெட் ஃப்ரம் திஸ் டெஸ்ட் பேட்ச். ஒருத்தர் எனிமியா பார்க்கறதுக்கு உண்டான ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி இல்லை இந்த டெஸ்ட் பேட்ச். நீங்களே எப்படி உங்களை இம்ப்ரூவ் பண்றீங்க அப்படிங்கிறத ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டியை கொடுக்கறதுக்கு தான் இந்த டெஸ்ட் பேட்ச். நவ் கம் டு திஸ். I'll discuss some of the current affairs questions. Map based questions are coming. இத சொல்லுங்கப்பா, எது ஃபர்ஸ்ட்? ஃப்ரம் ஈஸ்ட் டு வெஸ்ட். ஃப்ரம் ஈஸ்ட் டு வெஸ்ட். எது ஈஸ்ட்ல இருந்து வெஸ்ட்டுக்கு பார்க்கும்போது வாட் இஸ் தேர்? ஃப்ரம் ஈஸ்ட் டு வெஸ்ட். ஈஸ்ட்ல இருந்து வெஸ்ட் வரைக்கும் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வாட் வில் கம்? என்ன வரும்? ஈஸ்ட் டு வெஸ்ட். ஹவாய், அப்புறம் தென் டோங்கா, தென் வானவாட்டு. So this is what is 1, 2, what? 3. So 2, 3 எங்க இருக்குது? 1. லொகேஷன்ஸ் எப்படி கேட்குறாங்க? ஏதாவது கண்ணுக்கு தெரியாம மைக்ரோஸ்கோப்பை வச்சு பார்த்து எங்க இருக்குதுன்னு கண்டுபிடிக்கிற மாதிரி தானே கேட்குறாங்க லொகேஷன். இந்த மாதிரி சின்ன சின்ன ஐலாண்டை கேட்டுருவாங்க. ஆல் தீஸ் ஐலாண்ட்ஸ் were there somewhere in the news, which is why this was put. Now come to the next question. What is the answer for this question? To fast track the utilization of India's rights under Indus Water Treaty, a multi-purpose project is planned to be constructed in Kathua district of Jammu Kashmir on river Uj. River Uj is a tributary of Now tell me Indus Water Treaty. 1960, right? So in this treaty, which rivers are given exclusive rights for India? Sutlej, Ravi and Bias. We have rights over these three. Which rivers? East flowing or west flowing? West flowing or east flowing? East flowing. This is for Pakistan. This is for India. Now, Uj river is a tributary of Ravi. There is another project, multi-purpose project, which India is constructing to ensure that our river is not going to Pakistan. That project is called as Shahpur Kandi project. This is also on river Ravi. So Uj multi-purpose project and Shahpur Kandi multi-purpose project is constructed by India on river Ravi. So that is the right answer. A Harappan site located in Saraswati river plain A cylindrical seal with 5 Harappan characters on one side and a symbol of an alligator on the other is an important find from this site. It is the largest Harappan site in the Indian subcontinent. Identify the site. Which site? Raki Garhi is the answer. This site is the largest Harappan site in the Indian subcontinent. In the year 2020, during the budget presentation of the Finance Minister of India, 5 iconic sites were told in the budget for which money will be allocated. One of such iconic sites is this Raki Garhi site, which is one of the which is the largest Harappan site. Other iconic sites mentioned by the Finance Minister in the budget 2020 was Hastinapur. Where is it? UP. Then Sivasagar, Assam. Then Dolavira, Gujarat. Adichanallur, Tamil Nadu. நமக்கு தெரியும், ஆனால் நார்த்தில் உள்ளவங்களுக்கு தெரியாது. எப்படி நமக்கு அந்த சைட்டு தெரியலையோ அதே மாதிரி தான். So 5 iconic sites and this site was mentioned by the Finance Minister in the budget 2020. Where is this Rakigiri? Rakigiri is present in which state? Hisar district of Haryana. Hisar district of Haryana. It is one of the most advanced tribes of Uttar Pradesh. Living in the Tarai region, a festival called Banjar is celebrated by them. Recently, tribal museum focusing their way of life has been inaugurated. Identify the tribe. If you follow a logic, you'll understand this. Tarai region. Which Tarai region is a very fertile region in Nepal, where Madeshis are living. There is some community called as Tharu community, which wanted a separate state called as Tharu Hat. They wanted Tharu Hat. And that is why there was so much of political crisis in Nepal. While writing the constitution, there was so much of political crisis in Nepal because Tharus, Janchadis, the Madeshis living in the Tarai region, they wanted separate state. Ethnic state they wanted. But the upper caste people in Nepal did not allow this. And therefore, there was a standoff, a constitutional logjam, which became a question in the main examination GS paper 2. Constitutional logjam in Nepal some time back. So, Tharu is the answer. Tharu is the answer. This tribe, Panika tribe, is present in which place? Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Odisha. Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Orissa. Now tell me about Gonda tribe. It is the largest tribe in India, and they say that it is the largest tribe in the world. 12 million tribals are there belonging to Gonda tribe. Largest tribe in India or even the world. So it is spread in many states in south as well as the North India, like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, then Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh. Everywhere they are spread now because 12 million people are there. Gonda tribe is the largest tribe. Question can come from tribes. And then Chakmas. You know Chakma rebellion, where it took place? Chakma uprising. Any idea? Chakma uprising. Bangladesh. Or, yeah, Chakma in Bangladesh. Chakmas. They are insurgent group, rebel group in Bangladesh. Chakma uprising. So if you look at where this Chakma people are present, they are actually present in Tripura. The distance between Tripura, Agartala and Bangladesh is just 280 kilometers. 282 kilometers தான் அகர்தலா திரிபுராவோட கேபிட்டலுக்கும் பங்களாதேஷ்க்கும். Which is why they are telling that Bangladesh land route to India will be having high potential to develop our northeast India. ஏன்னா easy connectivity to northeast India via land comes through Bangladesh. But because of this dam controversy, which dam controversy? Teesta River dispute. Because of this Teesta River dispute, they refused to give the overland transit facility, which would have benefited the northeastern people. So we said Tripura is very closer to Bangladesh, and these people called as Chakma people are present in Tripura, but they have migrated, some have migrated to Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh. They have migrated to Mizoram and Arunachal Pradesh. Now, community forest resource. Community forest resource area is a common forest land that has been traditionally protected and conserved for sustainable use by a particular community. The CFR rights are provided under the Forest Right Act. It is provided under the Forest Right Act 2006. So what do you mean by community forest resource? Community forest resource area means this only. First statement is the definition, right? Why this question came? Because CFR was announced by Chhattisgarh, and Chhattisgarh was the second state to announce this CFR. In 2016, Odisha became the first state. Chhattisgarh became the second state. Recently, it announced this CFR. Odisha became the first state in 2016 when it announced, notified CFR in the Similipal National Park. Similipal National Park. So CFR came in the news because Chhattisgarh announced this CFR, becoming the second state. Now CFR rights are provided in the Forest Rights Act, especially section 3 of the Forest Right Act. Gives the right to protect, right to conserve CFR. Right to protect and right to conserve CFR is given in section 3 of the Forest Right Act. Section 3 of the Forest Right Act. Section 5 of the Forest Right Act says that the community present in this place, they can make their own rules to preserve, conserve CFR. Own rules can be made by community according to section 5 of this Forest Right Act. Section 3 gives the right to conserve, right to manage the CFR for the particular community. Gram Sabha was asked in the past question. It will be very interesting to note this fact that we are finding some previous year questions being asked directly or indirectly in the prelims examination. In main examination, we can very well expect that there will be some questions. For example, 2021 main examination had many questions which were directly lifted from the previous years in GS. But we find that even in the prelims, the shade of the previous year question is present. Therefore, studying thoroughly last 15 years of previous year question for prelims GS is mandatory for you to get a thorough grasp of the pattern of UPSC. ஒரு 15 வருஷம் கொஸ்டின் பேப்பரை பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஒரு நல்ல பேட்டர்ன் தெரியுது. What is important for UPSC, we will be able to identify that. And this is the reason why we are putting the question on the lines of this UPSC questions. ஏன்னா ஒரு பேட்டர்ன் தெரியுது. 15 வருஷம் கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் எடுத்து பார்த்தீங்கன்னா நீங்க ரீட் பண்ணும்போது தான் you will know that it is repeated in a form which you don't even identify that this is what was asked earlier. அந்த மாதிரி கேக்குறாங்க. இந்த Forest Right Act FRA was asked some time back. Idhula the question which was asked in the past year was Forest Right Gram Sabha. According to Forest Right Act, the right to forest land is given to the two people. One is who? Scheduled tribe as well as other traditional forest dwellers. It is not just giving forest right to the scheduled tribe. It is also giving forest right to people who are not ST, but they have to come under the category of other traditional forest dwellers. So forest dwelling scheduled tribe plus other traditional forest dwellers, both are given right over forest under this Forest Right Act. Now ST, you know, because it has been notified by the government, there is a list of ST. How will you know this other forest dwellers, other traditional forest dwellers? They have given a condition that if you are having a complete dependence on the forest, you are primarily dependent on forest, and you should be living in that particular forest area for minimum 75 years. If you are satisfying these two conditions, you will also get the forest right like that of scheduled tribe. And the question was, I have to make an application to the government, state government, to get the forest right. I am either scheduled tribe or I belong to traditional forest dweller. Now, who will initiate the process was the question asked in the past UPSC. Answer is very clearly given in the Forest Right Act that it is the Gram Sabha which will initiate. Initiation of the application done by Gram Sabha. Finally, patta for the land is given by the district collector. So initiation by the Gram Sabha was asked already in the past paper. Now this is the right thing, and this is also the right statement, hence answer is C. Monkeypox virus, it is an enveloped double-stranded DNA virus. Yes or no? Yes. Now the second statement says the vaccine developed to protect against smallpox. Smallpox vaccine can also prevent monkeypox virus. 80% efficiency is there to prevent monkeypox virus if you administer smallpox vaccine. So smallpox vaccine can be easily used against monkeypox because 80% efficiency they have found. Whether it is a pandemic, it is not a pandemic. Not a pandemic. Answer is 1 and 2. Raja Ram Mohan Roy, he was called as Bharat Patik. Who called Bharat Patik? Tagore called, yes or no? Yes. This Satyarth Prakash, Dayananda Saraswati, Dayanandas. Education, hmm. Answer is one only. What do you mean by ecologism? Ecologism. Ecologism is different from environmentalism. Ecologism developed as a political ideology in 1970s. And this ecologism is today becoming a very prominent ideology in the protection of our nature, in the preservation of the natural habitat. Environmentalism says you have to give importance to human beings. Anthropocentrism. Anthropocentrism means human being centric. So we should ensure that the human beings are not very much affected in the name of protection of the nature. Humans first, non-humans next. So as much as possible within the status quo, we will do some modifications in the consumption pattern, in the carbon emission. We will do modifications within the status quo. We will give importance to humans first. That is what is called as environmentalism. But environmentalism is having its own limitations, because human being should not be at the center always. Don't think that the moral aspects are present only for human being, and human beings alone have a right to life. Right to life is there for even non-human beings. Plant is also having right to life. Animals are having right to life. The components like the values like morality will have to be applied to even non-human beings. So therefore, anthropocentrism, that is human-centric environmentalism, will have to be rejected. Non-humans also should be given equal weightage like that of the human beings, and that ideology became bigger and bigger. It started in 1970s as a political ideology, because environmentalism was present even before. For example, when industrial revolution came, it damaged the environment, right? And they wanted to ensure that human beings will have to be given all more important. But change happened, because in the field of environment, a landmark convention called Stockholm Convention took place in 1972, which in fact was a game changer. Because in 1972 Stockholm Convention, what was created? What is the product of this 1972 convention? A very UNEP, exactly. United Nations Environment Program, 1972. Then came 1980s. Brundtland Commission report. Aware of this? Anyone aware of this? 1980s, 84 I think. It was constituted, and 1987 the report came. Brundtland Committee report. Brundtland report. 1980s. For the first time, what we are using today very frequently in the field of environment, that was spoken. What is that? Sustainable development. sustainable development, the concept of sustainable development became formal in the articulation because of the Brundtland Commission. அதுக்கப்புறம் பாருங்க 1992 என்ன நடக்குது? ரியோ டி ஜெனிரோ எர்த் சமிட். 1994 சரி 1993 Convention on Biological Diversity, CBD. 1994 UNFCCC. UNFCCC. So UNFCCC is a product of Earth Summit. Question was asked, Earth Summit took place in which of the following places? Answer, dead easy, Rio de Janeiro. World Summit on Sustainable Development, every 10 years you can see, 1992, 2002. 2012 what happened? Rio plus 20 நடந்துச்சா இல்லையா? Rio plus 20. So current affairs is not news. Current affairs is history. Current affairs is not current, because current affairs will have to be seen in the light of the past. What is current affairs according to us, which is coming in the newspaper, is only a fruit. But for every fruit, there is a root. So current affairs preparation should have this approach called as fruit to root approach. And that is what the approach which we are following in the class. Fruit, what I read today. Root, you have to travel down to the past and you have to fix somewhere. The question can come from the root to the fruit. It may not be the root, it may not be fruit, it may be in between, like World Summit on Sustainable Development. So read this. What is the answer? A concern with threats to the environment which can be effectively dealt within the status quo. Iduva ecologism. This is what is environmentalism. Environmentalism is different from ecologism. Ecologism means what? Radically challenges the human. Anthropocentric view means value means human centric value. Non-human world is also worthy of moral consideration. Morality should be applied even to non-human beings, plants, animals. They also have right to life. So no human first. Equality between non-humans and humans. See, our constitution told equality between men and women, equality between castes. But look at the Western countries, they are going in the direction of equality between humans and non-humans. நம்ம ஹியூமன்ஸ்குள்ளேயே ஈக்குவாலிட்டி கொண்டு வர முடியாம கஷ்டப்படுறோம். ரைட்? இது தப்பு. இது என்விரான்மெண்டலிசம். இதுதான் ஈக்கோலாஜிசம். ஸோ ஆன்சர் இஸ் 2 only. This wetland. So it is the largest freshwater tropical wetland. Correcta? Yes. It is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It is located in South America. Amazon River, Paraguay River. இது ரீசன்ட் ட்ரெண்ட். 1 statement only, 2 statement only. என்ன ஆகும்னா நம்ம எது தப்பு நினைக்கிறோமோ அது கரெக்டா இருக்கும், எது கரெக்ட் நினைக்கிறோமோ அது தப்பா இருக்கும். ஆனா கூட்டி கழிச்சு பார்க்கும்போது 2 statement கரெக்ட்னு நம்ம ஆன்சர் அதே இருக்கும், அல்லது 3 statement கரெக்ட் இருக்கும். இதை எதுக்கு கொண்டு வந்தாங்கன்னு எனக்கே தெரியல. ஏன்னா நீங்க ப்ரிசைஸா ஆன்சரை சொல்லாட்டா கூட ஆன்சர் வந்துடும் உங்களுக்கு. நான் ஏதோ 3 கரெக்ட்னு நினைச்சிட்டேன்பா. என்ன பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் 2, 3, 4 3 ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் கரெக்ட். ஆனா யூபிஎஸ்சி ஆக்சுவல் ஆன்சர் இஸ் 1, 2, 3. இது வேணும்னே. இது என்னன்னா கான்ஸ்பிரசி, சதி, வேற ஒண்ணும் இல்லை. யூபிஎஸ்சியோட சதி திட்டத்துல இதுவும் ஒண்ணு. நம்மளால சர்டைனா சொல்ல முடியாது பாத்தீங்களா எது கரெக்ட்னு. எக்ஸாம்ல இருந்து வெளியில வரும்போது யாரு கேட்டாலும் எப்படி பண்ணியிருக்கிறேன்னு கேட்டா எப்படின்னு தெரியலங்கிறது தான் ஆன்சரா இருக்கணும். யூபிஎஸ்சியை பொறுத்த மட்டும் நல்லா எழுதியிருக்கிறியா நல்லா எழுதலையா தெரியல, பாஸ் பண்ணுவியா பாஸ் பண்ண மாட்டியா புரியல, உங்களை கன்ஃபியூஷன் ஸ்டேட்லயே வைக்கணுங்கிறதுக்காகவே இந்த மாதிரி டிசைன். பார்ப்போம் 2023 வேற என்ன மாதிரி டைப். இது புது டைப். வேற என்ன டைப்புங்கிறத 2023 we have to wait and see. So last statement is wrong. 3 statements are correct. Nairobi Convention. What is Nairobi Convention? It is a part of the UNEP's regional seas program. It is a partnership working towards a prosperous West Indian Ocean region with healthy rivers, coast and oceans. Any convention, first thing you have to know is whether India is a party to this convention or not. Whether India is a party to this convention. Is India a party to the convention? Actually, Comoros, France, Kenya, Madagascar, Mauritius, Mozambique, Seychelles, Somalia, these countries are the parties to the convention. India is not a party to the convention. So answer is 1 and 2 only. India is not a party. Next, PM formalization of micro food processing enterprises scheme. It is a centrally sponsored scheme that involves convergence of ministries of food processing. This is known because it is there. But whether these two will come, you have to be very precise. Rural Development Ministry, Housing Ministry are also partners to this program, which was launched in 2020. Identification of the beneficiaries. How to identify beneficiaries? The Food Processing Ministry is having the support of Rural Development Ministry and Housing Ministry. Using their support, they are identifying the beneficiaries of this scheme. So this is a right statement. One district, one product. 700 plus districts are there. Out of these districts, some 170 plus products they have based on one district, one product model. 700 plus districts are there. 170 plus products they are targeting. And therefore, this is also correct statement. Only self-help groups who are presently engaged in food processing are eligible for seed capital. It's a 5-year scheme, 2020-21 to 2024-25. Outlay will be given as seed, as working capital, and to buy small tools. Outlay will be given 10,000 crore outlay. It is aimed at promoting vocal for the local under the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. Definitely yes. So all these statements are correct statements. The reports, the state of global climate report, the state of global climate report, global climate risk index organization, greenhouse bulletin. Tell me which is connected to what? Global climate report. Who is publishing this report? World Meteorological Organization. Greenhouse gas bulletin also this one. This is by a German NGO. German watch. So none of the pair is correct. Consider the following statement with reference to cheetah relocation to Kuno National Park. Where is this national park? Madhya Pradesh. Asiatic cheetah, African cheetah from Iran, Namibia. Asiatic cheetah is present in Iran, but this is African cheetah. It's a part of Kathiawar dry deciduous forest ecoregion. Yes or no? Yes. It is also considered a suitable habitat for Asiatic lion. Yes, they wanted to introduce Asiatic lion in 1995 in Kuno National Park. Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary was chosen because there is no human settlement. They plan to relocate Asiatic lions because as of now it is present in Gir National Park, but the diversity, species diversity is very less in Gir National Park. If the species diversity is less, then it may be vulnerable for epidemic attack. Easily epidemic attack can come and the lion will be killed by this epidemics. And therefore they plan to relocate this lion to this Kuno Wildlife Sanctuary, but they didn't do. The Asiatic cheetahs are present in Iran. This is African cheetah. So therefore, this is a wrong statement. Right? Second statement is a right statement. Third statement is a right statement. Answer is 2 and 3 only. Bharat Tap Initiative. What is this initiative? Bharat Tap Initiative. Water conservation efforts. Fertilizer industry is one of the 17 category of highly polluting industry. Is there any category called as category of 17 highly polluting industries? Definitely yes. The Ministry of Environment and Forest has a classification of 17 highly polluting industries, which includes fertilizer industry as well. Nano urea is a liquid fertilizer. It's a liquid fertilizer developed by IFCO, and that is the only nano fertilizer approved by Government of India. India is the first country to start a commercial production of this nano urea. Nano urea has so much of advantages compared to the conventional urea in terms of cost, in terms of efficiency as well. It is efficient because the nanoparticles will go directly to the stoma and the small pores. If you put the conventional urea, it will be washed away when there is a rain, but this will not happen in the nano urea. And if you look at the price, half a liter is costing only 280 rupees, whereas the conventional urea is heavily subsidized. That the farmer will have to pay around 350 to 400 rupees per bag of urea. If you go to the international market, one bag of urea is costing 4,000 rupees. So fertilizer import is a huge thing which the government of India is facing as a big burden, and to ease that burden of import of fertilizers, we are going for this nano urea, which is a liquid urea. So answer is what? All the four are correct. Indo-Pacific Economic Framework for Prosperity is a US-led trade agreement, free trade agreement of 14 countries including India to counter China. This statement is right statement or wrong statement? How many of you say it is a wrong statement? Why it is wrong? It is not. It is not a free trade. Tax will be there. There will be tax. It is not a free trade. It's an economic grouping, that's all. It is not a free trade agreement, it is only an economic grouping. It will benefit India because WTO rules will permit granting of preferential treatment amongst these members. See, only if it is FTA, WTO can give such relaxations to you. WTO will not influence any economic grouping. WTO can give some relaxations only if it is FTA, and therefore we will benefit definitely by this agreement, but that is not because WTO will relax some rules of it. So India will benefit is right. The reason for India benefiting is wrong. WTO rules will permit granting of preferential. WTO rules will not apply to economic grouping. It will apply only to FTA. Therefore, both these statements are wrong statements, neither one nor two. First, do no harm. What is that ethics? It is an ethics. Huh? No first use is nuclear. First, do no harm. Medical ethics by Hippocrates. It is written that what a doctor should do. Either you treat the patient, or don't harm the patient at least. You treat the patient or don't do harm. So this do no harm principle is this medical ethics by Hippocrates. Understood? And 51, consider the following pairs: Tiger Reserve, Ramgarhs, which one? Rajasthan, Guru Ghasidas, Chhattisgarh தானே இது Rajasthan, Sariska, Bor, எங்க மகாராஷ்டிரா தானே? Yes or no? Then what? So two pairs. Presidential election 2002, the value of the vote of MP decreased because of the absence of legislative assembly in Jammu Kashmir. 90 MLAs in Jammu Kashmir abandoned legislative assembly, cannot participate in the election of the president. Therefore, the value of the vote reduced. Right? Value of the vote reduced from 708 to 700. The value of 1 MP vote is 700 in the 2022 president election. Earlier it was 708. Why it reduced? Because MLAs of Jammu Kashmir cannot partake in the president's election. That is why the vote value of MP reduced. While the value of the vote of MP is constant, value of the MLA vote will be different, definitely, because the value of MLA vote is equal to the population of the state. So it depends upon the population of the state. Therefore, for UP MLA, the value of MLA vote is 208. But for Tamil Nadu MLA, the value is only 176. Because population of Tamil Nadu is less in comparison to UP. So therefore, both these statements are correct statements. Thiruvananthapuram Declaration. The women MLAs for the first time at the national level met in Thiruvananthapuram for political empowerment of women. PBR. Since India has signed the CBD, Convention on Biological Diversity, as a party to CBD, we have to go for what? Biodiversity Act 2002. Biodiversity Act has 3 authorities: National Biodiversity Authority, State Biodiversity Board, Biodiversity Management Committee, BMC. Biodiversity Management Committee, BMC. So what is the function of NBA? It is a statutory body because it comes from the Act 2002. The NBA is having a very important function. If a foreigner, it may be a company or it may be an individual who wanted to use the biogenetic resources present in India for either research purpose or for commercial production, he or she or the company will have to get the prior permission of NBA. At the same time, an Indian is going to use the biodiversity resources for the above said purposes. Then he or she or the company will have to get the permission of the State Biodiversity Board. Now, local bodies are there both in the rural as well as urban. Urban local bodies as well as rural local bodies, they have to prepare a biodiversity registry which is containing the details of the fauna and flora in their jurisdiction. So this population registry, the registry, People's Biodiversity Registry or Register, will be prepared by BMC. Now, which city became the first metropolitan city? Kolkata. Some cities like Indore has developed, but as far as the metro cities are concerned, it is Kolkata. Chandigarh has prepared this. Indore has prepared this, but they are not metropolitan cities. They are only cities, not metropolitan. Now, gray hydrogen is what? Gray hydrogen is a hydrogen which comes from fossil fuels. Green hydrogen is coming from clean sources. The word green means clean. So it is not carbon capture. Whereas brown hydrogen is carbon capture. or brown hydrogen is this coal only. It is coal. Brown hydrogen is coal, and blue hydrogen is what? Blue hydrogen is fossils. See, fossils, gray hydrogen, fossil is gray hydrogen, green hydrogen is from clean sources, brown hydrogen is from coal, and blue hydrogen is from carbon capture. So correctly matched is this one, then this one. 1 and 3 are correctly matched. 1 and 3 are correctly matched. Right? So these are the questions which I have to discuss. The remaining questions will be discussed by Vivekanandan sir. I told you, I wanted to reinforce this, that consistency is what is much more important than intelligence in this examination. The one who is consistently practicing for this examination will clear the examination. So be consistent. Whether you study or you don't study, try to study. Even for some reasons important you have not studied, come to the test, listen to the test discussion. Definitely end of the test discussion you will be knowing more than what you know, and that is what is knowledge. Knowledge can be only incremental, knowledge cannot be exponential. So incrementally, if you have to secure the knowledge, you have to come, attend the test discussion, get it checked, and if you have any doubts you can meet the mentor. Thank you.
Fan man. Fan. AC ಹೋಗ್ತದೆ. Heat ಆಗಿದೆ. Chiro. Chiro. So good evening, friends. Good evening. Right. So how was the test? I mean, mostly about geography. Right. Okay. So we will discuss the entire geography. That is the syllabus for this test is universe, solar system, and the entire geomorphology for the preliminary section. And to some of the current affairs questions will also be discussed. Right. So consider the following statements about gray slender loris, right? So it is not a significant, it is not, question number 79, right? Question number 79. It is not a significant species, but it has been in the news for quite some time, right? Because the Salim Ali Center for Ornithology and Natural History has conducted a survey in the Dindigul district of Tamil Nadu. It has been in the news for some time. And if you look at the IUCN status of this, it is a nearly threatened species only. It is a primate species. That is, it belongs to the family of monkey or something like that, related species. Right? So it is a nocturnal animal. Yes, it is correct. And it is endemic to peninsular India. Is it right or wrong? No. It is majorly found in peninsular India, and it is also found in the Sri Lankan regions. So it has been given endemic, right? So the statement is wrong. And if you have addressed that topic that it has been found in Dindigul district now, whether it will be found only in tropical rainforest, right? So if you come across that news, you can easily arrive at this option to be wrong, because that district is not known for tropical rainforest, right? So it is found in every region, tropical rainforest, even dry deciduous forest, it can found, and it is mostly insectivorous in nature, right? This primate species. So answer for this question is 1 only. Then question number 80. consider the following statements about jute, right? So everyone knows that India is one of the largest producer. I mean, India is the second largest producer. Huh? What about this statement? Is it right or wrong? India is the largest producer, right? But second largest exporter. That is the difference. So India is the largest producer, but Bangladesh is the largest exporter. Rendume marum, right? So India is the largest producer, whereas Bangladesh is largest exporter. The first statement is wrong. Abdindra pombodhu you can arrive at the answer. Answer is 2 only, right? It requires rainfall of around 120 to 150 centimeter, which is normally happening in the hot and humid climate with respect to India. That too, especially during the southwest monsoon season, right? It is cultivated only along the deltaic regions, that is eastern coastal regions of India. Majority of you know that jute cultivation is famous in the region of West Bengal. But is it only cultivated in the coastal deltaic region? No, it is not, right? It is also being grown in the regions of Bihar, Assam, where Ganga and Brahmaputra plain regions are also a suitable location for its cultivation. So answer for this question is option C, right? This is another important news, right? Recently, the site Mailadumparai is in the news. Why it has been in the news? That is the earliest evidence of India. I mean, earliest evidence of iron use in India has been found here. In which region it belonged to? Any idea about that? Huh? No. So it has been found in the region of iron. Abdina geographic connect panni parunga. Abdina it is in the Krishnagiri district. So Deccan Plateau region extension, right? It is found in the Krishnagiri district of India, and it has been found that it is around 4,200 years old. That is roughly 2722 BC இதனோட ஏஜ்ன்றத ஐடென்டிஃபை பண்ணிருக்காங்க. ரைட்டா? சோ இதுக்கு முன்னாடி எந்த சைட் இருக்குதுன்னா, ரைட், இதுக்கு முன்னாடி பாத்தீங்கன்னா Brahmagiri in the Karnataka region, which is also an extension of Deccan Plateau. It was found that 2040 BC la da earliest evidence of iron was found in the India. But recently it has found that because BC indra pombodhu reverse la pogum, correct? So 2172 the earliest evidence which has been found in Tamil Nadu region, right? Ipo இன்னொரு ஒரு question என்னன்னா, so second statement is right? Second statement is right? So appo if you consider it to be related to the age of the site, can we say that it is a Paleolithic site? First statement is right or wrong? Paleolithic na iron kuda number relate panna maatom, correct? But it is a Paleolithic site. The question is not about iron with respect to site. The question is as about site பத்தி தான். So Mailadumparai is a Paleolithic site where traces up to 30,000 BC has been found in this site. So it is a Paleolithic site and the earliest evidence of iron has been found here. So அதுதான் இங்க நீங்க கவனிக்க வேண்டியது. அப்ப question வந்து எதுக்கு போய் நோக்கி இருக்குதுன்றதை கிளியரா கவனிக்கணும், ரைட்டா? And you cannot found any of the traces of iron in the Indus Valley civilization. Later Vedic period la தான் இருக்கும். But in this peninsular region, the earliest evidences of iron has been found in the lower reaches of Deccan Plateau regions. So answer for this question is both 1 and 2, right? This age may be related to the Neolithic or on the borders of IVC, but this is a site which has been known for Paleolithic evidences also, right? So now we will discuss the geography questions. Question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding the origin and evolution of universe, right? Everyone known about the Big Bang theory, which gives a detailed information about the origination as well as evolution of universe. So after that big explosion happened at the point of singularity, that is this most center point where that explosion has happened, The universe is ever expanding in all directions. Up to this, the statement is right, right? But whether it is expanding at a constant velocity, no. It is not expanding at a constant velocity. As the distance from the singularity increases, the expansion rate is also increases. So first statement is wrong. One, because of this particular word called as constant velocity. The stars and galaxies produced as a result. Yes. So first statement is wrong na. A option eliminated, both 1 and 2 eliminated, right? Second statement, the stars and galaxies produced as a result of the explosion majorly composed of hydrogen and helium atoms. Yes, right? If you consider the Big Bang theory, right? So around 13.8 billion years ago, due to the intense gravitational attraction towards the point of singularity, that big explosion had happened. After that, every objects will be exploded and transmitted in every directions, right? So the time at which the universe starts to experience that cooling state, that cosmic microwave background radiation, the traces of the evidences has been found. But the idea about the expansion has been recently found in the earlier 1990s, right? Until that, it was found that because it is against the gravity against expansion agadradanaala, it was believed that due to the intense gravity towards the center point, the expansion is happening at a slower phase. But Edwin Hubble is one of the proponent of Big Bang theory, right? Which was theoretically proposed by Georges Lemaitre. Our basis the Edwin telescope has been released. The evidences observed through Edwin telescope had shown that the universal expansion is happening at a rapid pace whenever its direction, its distance is increasing from the point of singularity. அதுக்கு காரணமா இருக்கிற எனர்ஜிக்கு பேர் தான் what they have called it as dark energy. Still it is unknown. It is the characteristics of that energy is unknown to humans, so that it has been named as dark energy and dark matter, right? So the statement with respect to this particular question is second statement, right? அப்ப answer வந்து 2 only. புரியுதா என்ன சொல்றேன்றது, right? Then question number 2, in which of the following events the universe where gravitational waves are produced? Gravitational waves is one of the most fundamental waves of the universe, right? Fundamental force of the universe. Whenever there is a change, whenever there is a major energy has been emitted in the universe, it had resulted in variation in space and time, right? And the variation the gravitational waves produce panna vaikkudu, right? So what are all the major events in the universe where you can observe the presence of gravitational waves? It will happen in every events which has been mentioned here, right? Collision of black holes li nadakum, then supernova explosion li nadakum, then if there is a possibility of merging of neutron stars, in all of these phases the gravitational waves were produced. What do you understand about these events, right? Black holes, neutron stars and supernova explosion are part of the evolution cycle of a star. Oru star parandadula irundhu, we have discussed in the previous question that during that Big Bang explosion, which component were initially formed? Stars were first to get formed. So when the universe was flooded with hydrogen and helium, when the hydrogen atoms are fused together under the context called as nuclear fusion reaction, helium has created. இதுதான் வந்து on the basis of which stars have formed, then later galaxies were formed, and within every galaxies, every individual solar system have formed. This is the order of evolution of universe. In that order, the life cycle of a star is determined in different ways. Initially, all of the hydrogen atoms are attracted towards the center due to the gravitational attraction of that star. With that phase is called as planetary nebula, stellar nebula phase, right? Adula irundu, the end phase of a particular star is called as red giant phase. After that, it has resulted in the white dwarf and black dwarf if it is a sun-sized star. Sun is an average sized star. Sun would a massive sized star. That is after red giant phase. Red giant phase it indicates that the fuel which is used for its sustenance will be completely utilized by the star. Hydrogen or a nuclear fusion reaction, once it ceased to stop and the end phase of a star will continue. Adukapparam, due to the enormous energy when it is released from the center towards the outer side, it had resulted in supernova explosion. That supernova explosions, after that, it can be resulted in two forms, either as a neutron star or as a black hole. Right? It is all related to a massive sized star, not with respect to a sun-sized star. In all of these events, in all of these major events called as black hole, neutron stars, and supernova explosions, you can find that the variation in the space and time along the universe. This variation had resulted in the production of gravitational waves, and it is observed by LIGO observatory in the Earth. This base pannida, like laser interferometer, gravitational observatory. That base pannida, we have observed the changes in the universe. All of these events, which are considered to be the major events in the evolution of universe, had resulted in the generation of gravitational waves. Do you understand? Right. Then next question. Consider the following statements with respect to sun. Sun is one of the important star and it is the head of our solar system. Sunspots or brighter regions on the sun surface where highly energized solar flares were originated. Yes, it is a region where solar flares were originated. But is it a brighter spot? No, it is a dark spots. Right? Adadanga keyword, right? So first statement is wrong. Second statement. During its life cycle, the death of a sun's life would result in supernova explosion after the red giant phase. It would not result in supernova explosion. Supernova explosion is related to a massive sized star, but sun doesn't belong to that particular category. Second statement wrong. Answer neither one nor two, right? We know that if we analyze the layers of the sun, right, we know that the interior core is made up of helium atoms as a result of nuclear fusion reaction of hydrogen. Then the heat which is generated within the core is radiated outwards. That radiation is called as radiation zone, the region where the heat is radiated outside. As a result of that radiation, the next most important region is convective zone. You have to understand about the importance of this convective zone, right? Why? Because now in the convective zone, it is all highly consisted of larger number of electrically charged plasma within itself. So convective variation in the temperature causes it to experience the convective circular motion. That convective circular motion resulted in the generation of what? Electrically charged particles. When it is resulted in convective motion, it would result in the creation of the magnetic field. Convective forces, magnetic field. In the convection zone, the magnetic field of the sun would get created. And the magnetic field, along the magnetic flux lines of the magnetic field, the energy which is transmitted from the sun will be transported towards the upper surface. This is the photosphere. Photosphere is a zone which indicates the white light emission of the sun. Then after that, when you have observed the variation in the spectrum range, the next layer called as chromosphere will appear over there. Chromosphere kapparanda corona kapparanda solar flares. Finally, that's solar winds are nammaloda outermost object of our solar system. It can have its influence, right? The region, that is the region due to the variation in the magnetic field on the surface of the earth, where the energy is transmitted, resulted in the dark spots. And the dark spots pair the sunspots. Some of the regions are more brighter when compared to the nearby regions. What will be the name of those regions? Plagues. It is plagues which are considered to be the brighter spots and sunspots which are considered to be the darker spots. Right? These variations are due to the variation in the magnetic field of the sun. And you have to know that the magnetic polarity of the sun will get reversed for every 11 years. Over 11-year cycle, North Pole and South Pole will get reversed. These are all the important things you have to know about sun, right? So answer for this question is neither one nor two. அப்ப இத பேஸ் பண்ணி பார்க்க போகும்போது தான் இது நம்மளுக்கு புரிஞ்சா மட்டும் தான் இது நம்மளுக்கு தெரியும். If you know about the changes which are happening within the sun, you can arrive the answer with respect to the layers. First, you have to know about the different layers of sun, and either the temperature is increasing or decreasing in a uniform way ஆன்றது தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். But it is not happening in that way, right? So arrange the following layers of the sun's atmosphere in ascending order with respect to its temperature. அப்போ இருக்கிறதுலே டெம்பரேச்சர் அதிகமா இருக்கிறது என்னவா இருக்கும்? ஐ மீன் டெம்பரேச்சர் அதிகமா இருக்கிறதா நம்மளுக்கு எது நம்மளுக்கு வந்து தோணும் அப்படின்னா இன்டீரியர் ரீஜன்ல இருக்கிறதானே டெம்பரேச்சர் அதிகமா இருக்குன்னு தோணும். ஏன்னா கோர் இஸ் நோன் ஃபார் தி ஹையஸ்ட் டெம்பரேச்சர். அப்போ கோரை விட்டு அடுத்தது போட்டோஸ்பியர் வருது, போட்டோஸ்பியர் விட்டு குரோமோஸ்பியர் வருது, அதுக்கப்புறம் தான் கொரோனா வருது. இன் காமன் சென்ஸ் we can understand கோர்ல ஹையஸ்ட் டெம்பரேச்சர் இருக்கும், அதை விட போட்டோஸ்பியர் அதிகமா இருக்கும், அதை விட கொரோனால அதிகம். பட் as I said before, the convection zone which has played an important role here. The magnetic field bypasses the photosphere and makes photosphere, the middle layer, to be the least temperature receiving region of sun. அதுதான் இங்க வித்தியாசமே. புரியுதா? அப்போ photosphere தான் வந்து என்னது least temperature receiving region-ஆ இருக்கும். அதுல இருந்து photosphere-ல இருந்து உள்ள போனீங்கன்னா temperature increase ஆகும். அதே மாதிரி photosphere-ல இருந்து வெளியில வந்தீங்கன்னா temperature increase ஆகும். The lowermost temperature is experienced in the photospheric region of sun. Okay, அப்ப photosphere, then chromosphere, அடுத்தது corona, அதுக்கப்புறம் solar flare. What will be the option? Right? A. புரியுதா என்ன சொல்றேன்றது? Right. இதுக்கு காரணம் வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா magnetic field of the earth which is created due to the convection zone. அதனால தான் இந்த வேரியேஷன் இருக்கு. Do you understand what I am saying? So the average temperature of photosphere is around 6000 Kelvin, but if you observe the temperature of chromosphere, it is way higher than photosphere, and corona, then finally solar flare. Do you understand what I am saying? Right, இத பார்க்க போகும்போது answer will be option A. Then which among the question number 5, which among the following are the criteria set by International Astronomical Union to define a planet? Right, இத பேஸ் பண்ணி தான் 2006ல இருந்து எதை டிஸ்ரிகார்ட் பண்ணாங்க? Pluto was never considered as a planet. It must be big enough to have enough gravity to force it into a spherical shape. அது ரவுண்ட் ஸ்பெரிக்கல் ஷேப்ல இருக்கணும். அதுக்கான கிராவிட்டி இருந்தா மட்டும்தான் ஒரு டிஃபைன்டு ஸ்ட்ரக்சர் உருவாக்க முடியும். ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் ரைட். It must be big enough that its gravity cleared away any other objects of a similar size near its orbit around the sun. Yes, it has to have a separate orbit and it should not be entering into any other orbit. Right? And the reason that Pluto was not considered as a planet. Until that, Pluto was our 9th planet in the year of 2006. It was considered to be a dwarf planet. That's planet kadayadhu. It must orbit around the sun and it should have a satellite to orbit around them. அப்படியா? அப்படி பார்த்தா the first two planets-க்கு satellite கிடையாது, மெர்க்குரிக்கும் வீனஸ்க்கும் கிடையாது. அப்ப 3 வராது அப்படினாலே என்னது ஆன்சர் 1 and 2. அப்ப அந்த கேட்டகரியை பேஸ் பண்ணி if we identify the incorrect statement, question என்னது incorrect statement with respect to our planets in the solar system, right? The inner planets are smaller but denser than the outer planets. Is it so? Yes, because of its closeness towards the sun, only the terrestrial characteristics of the planets would get retained, right? Terrestrial இருக்கிறதுனால it will be denser. Mercury being the closest planet to the sun, everyone knows that. It is because of which it has the least rotational period. It has the least revolutionary period. It is not a least rotational period in the planet Jupiter, right? So second statement is wrong. So Venus is the hottest and the brightest planet of our solar system. Yes, obviously. Why? Because even though it is the second closest planet, it is not the Mercury. Venus is the hottest planet. Why? It is all because to the larger presence of carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is a greenhouse gas. So greenhouse gas has the capacity to trap the terrestrial radiation or infrared radiation which are emerged from the planet. அதனால தான் second closest இருந்தாலுமே it is the hottest and the brightest planet. Ganymede, the largest satellite of our solar system, is the satellite of Jupiter. இதனுடைய சைஸ் வந்து பார்த்தோம்னா மெர்க்குரியை விட பெருசா இருக்கும், ரைட்டா? So all the other statements are right except the second statement, right? Question number 10. The question is with respect to the 5 dwarf planets of our solar system. Which among the following dwarf planets of our solar system are present in the region between Neptune and Kuiper belt? Except Ceres. Ceres is belonging to the asteroid belt. Remaining everything is located beyond Pluto. Pluto adukapram da irukum, right? If you observe the position of all of these dwarf planets in our solar system, Ceres is found to be in the asteroid belt region, and you know that asteroid is between Mars and Jupiter. It separates the boundary between the inner planets and outer planets, right? அதே மாதிரி மிச்ச உள்ள planets ஓட position எல்லாமே பாத்தீங்கன்னா it is beyond Neptune but up to a region which we can call it as Kuiper belt, right? A Kuiper belt க்கு asteroid belt க்கு உள்ள difference என்ன? அங்க frozen materials இருக்கும், இங்க rocky structures இருக்கும், right? So answer for this question is, if C is eliminated, எங்கெங்கெல்லாம் 4 option இருக்கோ அதெல்லாம் neglect பண்ணிக்கனாலே answer வந்துரும். Answer will be C. So question number 11. Consider the following statements regarding smaller bodies of the solar system, right? Meteors that did not get completely burnt out and strikes the surface of the planet are called meteoroids. Meteoroid கிடையாது, meteorite. கரெக்ட்டா? மெட்டியோராய்டுன்றது ஆஸ்ட்ராய்டுல இருந்து வெளியில வரதா மெட்டியோராய்டு. சின்ன சின்ன விஷயத்தையும் கவனிக்கணும், புரியுதா? So first statement wrongனாலே answer, sorry, question is about, okay, not correct தான் கேட்டிருக்கு, ரைட்டா? அப்போ first statement வரணும் அப்படின்னா first B eliminate பண்ணலாம், கரெக்ட்டா? Comets are made up of dust. Ice particles and gases have an eccentric orbital path. இதுதான் correct. Eccentric orbital path னா என்னது? It is traveling in a circular way or elliptical way. Elliptical way ல travel ஆகி தான் போகும். It is not something like which is easily visible in this sky. நேரா போற மாதிரி போகாது, ரைட்டா? Kuiper belt contains mostly ice particles and it is the outermost boundary of our solar system. Correct? Oort cloud is the outermost boundary of our solar system, right? Kuiper belt தாண்டி கடைசில இருக்கிறது தான் Oort cloud. Both of these regions, Kuiper belt and Oort cloud, are known for the origination of comets, but comparatively long distance க்கு travel பண்ணக்கூடிய larger comets ஓட origination point can be found in Oort cloud, right? So answer for this question is என்னது? 1 and 3. Answer is C, because the question is asking about not correct statement. Question number 12. Consider the following statement regarding pole star. Yes, it always appears static in the sky above the north pole of Earth. Is it so? Always appears static in the sky. Direction indicate பண்ணும் தெரியும், but அந்த இடத்துல தான் இருக்குமா? Yes. Why? Because it is located exactly in the line of our rotating axis. டைரக்ஷன் நார்த் இண்டிகேட் பண்றது மாதிரியே இந்த ரொட்டேட்டிங் ஆக்சிஸ்க்கு லைன்ல நீங்க ஸ்ட்ரெயிட்டா ஸ்பேஸ் வரைக்கும் எடுத்து போனீங்கன்னா அங்கதான் இந்த போல் ஸ்டார் இருக்கும். அதனால ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் இஸ் ரைட். புரியுதா? Then it is the closest star to the earth and belongs to the Ursa Minor constellation. Ursa Minor constellation correct, but இதுதான் closest star ஆனா கிடையாது. புரியுதா? So answer for this question is 1 only. எது closest star? சன். ஓகே, ஓ சன்னு வேற கன்சிடர் பண்ணீங்களா? பரவாயில்ல. சரி, சன் இல்லைன்னா வேற எது? ப்ராக்சிமா செஞ்சுரி, தென் ஆல்பா செஞ்சுரி. அது ஒரு பைனரி ஸ்டார் தான், ரெண்டுமே குரூப்பிங்கா தான் இருக்கும், ரைட்? So question number 15. Pacer initiative recently seen in the news is related to what? Pacer initiative, that is polar science and cryosphere research related initiative. It is an initiative of our NCPCR, the National Center for Polar and Oceanic Research, Goa based research institute. This based on polar regions la ulla variations as well as cryosphere na endha regions kurikum. It is both polar regions as well as the Himalayan regions. Engengala vandu cryospheric conditions la irukko, those are all belong to the cryospheric region. Adha pathina research initiate pannadhu da idu. Okay va? This is this scheme has been extended for next 5 years. 2021 and 2026 varaikku in the scheme extend pannirukanga. It is a research based scheme. One of the subcomponent of the scheme is recently unveiled India's Arctic policy. Right? India's Arctic policy release pannirundanga last year, right? So to know more about Arctic and to know more about what will be the changes which will occur in the oceanic region as a result of climate and global change variations. Adha pathana one of the most important initiatives da. So understanding the polar region and the southern ocean region is the objective of this particular scheme. Question number 17. Consider the following statements with respect to the relationship between Earth and Moon. Right? Right. So the gravitational attraction of Moon is stronger than Sun. Idu variki paatha ennadu? In the statement idu variki paatha correct ah thappa? Kelvi puriyudha? Idu variki motta consider pannunga. Thappu. Yeah, because the mass of the Sun is way higher, so that the gravitational attraction of the Sun is comparatively higher than Moon. But the question is not about their comparison. The question is asking about towards the Earth. Appadina edhu adhigam? Okay va, Moon da adhigam. Tides ஞாபகம் வந்திருந்தாலே இதான் அதுதான் கடைசி வார்த்தை வரைக்கும் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்ல படிக்கணும். ஓகேவா? பாதிலே படிச்சிட்டு அசியூம் பண்ணிட்டு இது கரெக்ட்னு தப்புன்னு போனோம்னா அந்த மாதிரி தான் யூபிஎஸ்சில நிறைய क्वेश्चन தப்பு பண்ணுவோம். The question is asking about its gravitational attraction towards Earth. It is not about the comparative gravitational analysis. அப்படி யாராவது ஈஸியா கேட்பாங்களா? ரைட்டா? So first statement is right. As the rotational and revolutionary period of Moon is same, only one side of the Moon ever faced the Earth. Yes. What is the concept it will be called as? Tidal locking, right? That is, it doesn't allow the Moon to complete rotate itself, so that whenever the Moon is traveling around the Earth, its position will always be tilted towards the Earth, right? அதுக்கு பேர் தான் tidal locking ன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. The rotation of the Moon is entirely controlled by the gravitational attraction of the Earth. அந்த மாதிரி எந்த ரெண்டு ஆப்ஜெக்ட் குள்ள நடந்தாலுமே அதுக்கு பேர் tidal locking. So that the same phase will always be facing towards the Earth. It is because of which we can see only one side of the Moon if we observe it from the Earth. அதனால தான் rotational as well as revolutionary period of Moon is always be the same, which is around 27 to 28 days. அதனால தான் ரெண்டு வாரத்துக்கு ஒரு தடவை நியூ மூன் டே ஃபுல் மூன் டே வருது. ஒன் லூனார் மந்த்ன்றது 28 days. புரியுதா? So answer for this question is both 1 and 2. Simple questions தான் அதிகமா தப்பு பண்ணுவோம். ரைட்டா? So in which among the following condition with respect to the position of the Earth the solar eclipse would happen? Solar eclipse na first full moon day va new moon day va? New moon day, right? அப்படினா இதுவும் வரக்கூடாது இதுவும் வரக்கூடாது. இப்போ அடுத்தது நியூ மூன் டேனா அது என்ன நாளுன்னு தெரியணும். கரெக்ட்டா? எந்த பொசிஷன்ல இருக்க போகும்போது வரும் நியூ மூன் டேனா? It is between sun and the earth, right? So solar eclipse ன்றது சன்னுடைய பொசிஷனை மூன் வந்து மறைக்கிறது. அதே லூனார் எக்லிப்ஸ்ன்றது ஆப்போசிட்டா நடக்கும். லூனார் எக்லிப்ஸ் will be happening during the full moon day, right? Where the shadow of the earth blocks the light towards the full moon, right? So this is the position of the solar eclipse, where moon is positioned between sun and earth. Okay va? So answer for this question is option B. Question number 19. Consider the following statements regarding the different phases of moon. Blood moon is a phenomena associated with its red glow which occurs during the total lunar eclipse. Is it so? Blood moon அப்படினா something is related to the color which it reflects, right? Suppose moon doesn't have the capacity to generate its own light. It just reflects the light when it receives from the sun. But we know that earth is in between. During the full moon day, earth is positioned between sun and moon. So earth can block the light from the sun. When earth is closer enough towards the moon, all the light except the highly radiative nature இருக்கக்கூடிய ரெட் லைட் தவிர, ரேடியேட்டிவ் கிடையாது, லாங்கர் வேவ் லென்த் டிராவல் பண்ணக்கூடிய ரெட் லைட்டை தவிர மீதி எல்லா லைட்டையும் மூணோட பொசிஷன் பிளாக் பண்ணிக்கும். ஓகேவா? பட் தி scattered red light, when it reaches the moon, so that the red light will reflects from the full moon, that is called as blood moon. Blood moon என்றது the scattered red light of the sunlight, when it falls on the moon surface, the moon appears to be red in color, that is called as red moon. So first statement is right. இது தெரிஞ்சா மட்டும் தான் பண்ண முடியும், ஆன்சர் அரைவ் பண்ண முடியும். அப்ப அதே கான்டெக்ஸ்ட் வச்சு செகண்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் பாருங்க. அப்ப blue moon is a phase occurs when most of the sun's red light are scattered out by the Earth's atmosphere. Is it so? No, blue moon is not, doesn't related to the color of the moon. Blue moon என்றது என்னது? It is the second full moon in a lunar month. ஓகேவா? every 2.5 years ஒரே மாசத்துல ரெண்டு பௌர்ணமி வந்துச்சுன்னா அதுதான் blue moon. once in a blue moon னு சொல்லுவாங்க, மெட்டாஃபர்னு சொல்லுவாங்க, கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கீங்களா? அதனால blue moon is doesn't deal with color of the moon, whereas blood moon deals with the color of the moon. So answer for this question is one only. Common sense இங்க அப்ளை ஆகாது. ஓகேவா? காமன் சென்ஸோ லாஜிக்கோ சில இடத்துல அப்ளை ஆகாது. Which among the following factors are responsible for dynamism on the Earth's lithosphere? Dynamism na variation on the Earth's lithosphere. It is asking about the total changes on the crustal portion, that is the lithospheric region. Rotation of the Earth, why not? Centrifugal force, variation. Revolution of the Earth, எடுத்துக்கலாமா? எப்பயுமே ஒரு ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட்டை அல்லது ஒரு ஃபேக்டரை எடுத்துக்கணுமான்றதை யோசிக்கிறத விட ரிஜெக்ட் பண்ணணுமான்றதை யோசிங்க. Do you have any strong reason to say that it will not definitely come? Then you can eliminate that option. Otherwise, consider it to be inclusive. It will be mostly applicable in geography, especially polity based questions. கன்ஃபார்மா இது வராதுன்னு தெரிஞ்சா மட்டும் அந்த ஆப்ஷன் எலிமினேட் பண்ணணும். பார்ஷியலி கரெக்டா இருக்கிற மாதிரி இருந்தாலுமே you have to include it as a correct answer. ரெவல்யூஷனால நடக்கக்கூடிய சீசனல் சேஞ்சஸ், கிளைமேட்டிக் வேரியேஷன், கிளைமேட்டிக் வேரியேஷனால நடக்கக்கூடிய ஜியோமார்பிக் சேஞ்சஸ், the first process of exogenic changes, that is weathering. Revolution is sollalama. Tectonic plate movements, obviously it has to be there. Gravitational force, gravitational force is the prime force behind the exogenic movements. Radiative elements in the earth center, it is one of the important sources of endogenic. இதுல இருந்து வரதுனாலயுமே convectional movements within the astronospheric region of the earth ல நடக்கிறதுனால தான் tectonic movements நடக்குது. அப்ப you cannot say any one of these factor doesn't related to the variation. So take all of this into consideration. All of these would bring changes on the Earth's lithosphere. So answer for this question is all of the above. Question number 24. Consider the following statements regarding the evolution of Earth's atmosphere. Right? The primordial atmosphere என்னவா? Right? The primordial atmosphere contained abundant amount of hydrogen and helium. But oxygen இருந்துச்சா? கிடையாது. But doesn't have oxygen. Were supposed to be striped off through the impact of solar winds. Yes. இதை தவிர்த்துட்டு மீது எல்லாமே கரெக்ட் தான். அப்போ first statement should not be there. The composition of gases in the present day atmosphere are highly modified by the life forms of the oceans. Yes, obviously, the presence of oxygen, the second most gas of our atmosphere, is mainly due to the photosynthetic activities of the living beings in the oceans. So answer for this question is option B. So what are the three stages? Right? நம்ம கொஞ்ச நேரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ண மாதிரி in the evolution of the whole universe, ஸ்டார்ஸுக்குள்ளார சோலார் சிஸ்டத்தால ஒவ்வொரு பிளானட்டும் ஃபார்ம் ஆனிச்சு. அப்ப any of these planets would have initially have hydrogen and helium as the most important component in its atmosphere. But in that stage is called as first stage of the evolution of atmosphere. But during the time at which the tectonic movements were experienced, volcanic eruptions are happening. That process of volcanic eruption is called as what? Degassing. That is, the atmosphere of Earth is filled up with numerous gases which are erupted from the volcanoes due to plate tectonics. அப்ப அதனால என்னதுன்னா volcanoes இருந்து emit ஆன gases would make some alterations on the atmosphere, right? So hydrogen helium வந்து முன்னாடி இருந்தது. But in the second stage ஆன volcanic eruptions நடக்கிறதுக்கு முன்னாடி Earth being a terrestrial planet, Earth being an inner planet, அப்போ first 4 planets may would be highly influenced by the solar winds, right? அப்ப solar winds which stripes away the helium and hydrogen which are considered to be occupied by the earth. அது ஒரு lighter gases, light denser gases. அதனால அது easily will be thrown off by the solar winds effect. அதுதான் first stage. இப்ப hydrogen heliumலாம் போனதுக்கு அப்புறம் due to the volcanic eruptions carbon dioxide, nitrogen இதெல்லாமே வர ஆரம்பிச்சது. Then whenever during the volcanic eruptions, what are all the major gases which are emitted? It is water vapor. Water vapor were first developed into the atmosphere by the volcanic eruptions. Water vapor, carbon dioxide. Water vapor, when it is exceeding to the upper altitude, it will experience a process called as condensation. As a result of condensation, and the carbon which is present in the atmosphere, when it is dissolved within the water, it filled up in the depressions of the surface. அதனால தான் volcanic eruptions க்கு அப்புறம் என்ன நடந்தது? Ocean creation நடந்தது. Oceanல dissolved carbon இருந்ததுனால தான் carbon is the base for living beings to originate, right? Oceans were known to be the first source for living beings to get originated. When the living beings started to increase in the bottom of the oceans, what activity it will be resulting into? Photosynthetic activity. அப்பனா atmosphere இருக்கக்கூடிய carbon எல்லாத்தையும் absorb பண்ணிட்டு oxygen எல்லாத்தையும் release பண்ணும். அப்போ when the oceans அதுல இருந்து living beings increase ஆக atmosphereல இருக்கக்கூடிய carbon dioxide rate குறைஞ்சிட்டே வந்துச்சு, oxygen rate increase ஆயிட்டே வந்துச்சு. Then finally in the present day of our atmosphere, we have 78% of nitrogen, 21% of oxygen, argon occupies the third portion, carbon dioxide having a proportion of only 0.03%. This is the stages through which our atmosphere has evolved right from its birth to present day. இது கண்டிப்பா தெரியும். இத at least 2 to 3 times UPSC ல கேட்டிருக்காங்க. First unit of your fundamentals of physical geography la it has been clearly dealt with respect to that. So answer for this question is option B. அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி by the process of degassing, that is during the volcanic eruptions, which among the following gases were majorly released into the atmosphere through volcanic eruptions? Carbon dioxide, everyone knows that, but water vapor தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும், ரைட்டா? வாட்டர் வேப்பர் வந்ததுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் வாட்டர் வந்துச்சு எர்த்துக்கு. நார்மலா என்ன இருக்கும்? வாட்டர் ஹீட் ஆனதுக்கு அப்புறம் தான் வாட்டர் வேப்பர் வரும். வாட்டர் வேப்பர் when it is erupted from the interior of the earth, அதுல இருந்து தான் வாட்டர் கிரியேட் ஆனுச்சு. If we have studied about the evolution of atmosphere, so அதனால water vapor is the major component which is released by the volcanic eruptions during the second stages of our evolution. Then everyone knows that sulfur dioxide is also one of the important emissions of sulfur dioxide along with nitrogen oxides or nitrogen dioxide will result in acid rain, right? So answer for this question is all of the three will be liberated or thrown away during the volcanic eruptions. So the origin of Earth's magnetic field is generated from which of the following layers of Earth? At least ரெண்டு கோருக்குள்ளார ஒண்ணு அது தெரியுது இல்ல? சாலிட் இன்னர் கோரா லிக்விட் அவுட்டர் கோரா? சாலிட் இன்னர் கோர்னால சர்க்குலேஷன் நடக்கும். பட் கொஞ்ச நேரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி சன்னோடைய லேயர்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய கன்வெக்டிவ் மூவ்மெண்ட் இஸ் தி ரீசன் ஃபார் ஜெனரேஷன் ஆஃப் மேக்னெட்டிக் ஃபீல்ட். என்னன்னா அதே தானே எர்த்துக்கும். அப்பனா கன்வெக்டிவ் மூவ்மெண்ட் நடக்கணும்னா அது சாலிடா இருக்கணுமா மோல்டனா இருக்கணுமா? அப்ப இப்ப சொல்லுங்க எது? லிக்விட் அவுட்டர் கோர். அதுதான் அங்க விஷயம். Do you understand what I am saying? Right. So if you observe the earth's layer, we know that interior of the earth is inner region of the earth is solid in nature, solid inner core. Outer layer of the outer core is liquid in nature. That too, it has nickel, ferrous as its major component. It is a highly charged particles. So convective movement as a result of variation in the temperature or variation in the radioactive nature of these minerals within the molten layer results in the generation of electricity. Electromagnet concept mari, this electricity creates a magnetic field around the earth. So origin of the magnetic field started from the outer core, not from the inner core. And the chinna differences da, right? Idhula irundhu develop aana இதுக்குள்ளார நடக்கக்கூடிய அந்த convective movements within the molten in outer core la நடக்கிறதா is the source for magnetic field. This magnetic field will extend up to certain point in our atmosphere, right? And the magnetic field வந்து converge ஆகக்கூடிய points on the both the ends of our earth is magnetic north pole and magnetic south pole. This is the basis behind the origination of the concept is same with respect to sun and earth. எங்க convective movement நடக்குதோ அங்க தான் magnetic field generate ஆகும். But what is the condition? It has to have a highly energized charged particles. அப்பனா தான் and the energy will be converted into magnetic field. Do you understand what I'm saying? Right. So consider the following statements regarding the Earth's magnetic field. And the concept namakku therinjirundha idu namakku theriyum. The geographic north and south pole is in a fixed position. Everyone knows about that. Whereas the magnetic north and south pole wanders periodically. Yes, definitely. Even in the recent observation, it has been indicated that it has been moving from Canadian region towards the Russian region, right? Recent observation of the wandering of magnetic field has been observed numerous times in news la kuda vandirundhudu, right? So adha base panni paaka pogumbodhu it is traveling from Canadian region towards the Russia region. So in the wandering mattum kadayadhu, as like that of the sun, it is also altering its polarity after certain thousands of years. Anga 11 years konse nadadrom, ana inge thousands of years korudra da nadakku. This is a statement which was previously asked in the UPSC. The Earth's magnetic field has reversed every few 100,000 years. But you have to know that the concept behind the magnetic field of Earth, right? Appo idha base panni paakumbodhu what will be the answer? Both 1 and 2. Then question number 30. Consider the following statements regarding rotation of the Earth, right? The rotating axis of the Earth makes an angle of 23.5 degree. Everyone knows that the rotating axis is tilted by 23.5 degree. But whether it makes an angle of 23.5 degree with the orbital plane, orbital plane inga enna varano 66.5 degree. The second half padikkalana 23.5 degree என்ற மைண்ட மட்டும் வச்சு tilt angle மட்டும் பாத்துருவோம். But the question is not about tilting angle. The question is what it makes with the orbital plane, right? இதுதான் orbital plane. 23.5 degree tilt ஆயிருக்குனா இத கேக்கலப்பா கேள்வி, இங்க கேக்குறது. ஓகேவா? Right. So and we know that it is because of the tilting nature of Earth, the day and night variation on the Earth is not coinciding with its rotational axis. Earth tilt ஆகலனா கரெக்ட்டா rotation axis இதுவா இருந்திருக்குமா? இதுக்கு இந்த சைடுல நைட் இந்த சைடு பகலா இருந்திருக்குமா? If sun is positioned here. But we know that it is tilted. So tilting is always there. So it will never coincide with the circle of illumination. Circle of illumination is a circle which separates the Earth into two halves, where day on one side and night on another side. So for second statement, the circle of illumination which divides the day and night on the Earth coincides with the rotating axis. Na correct? Wrong. So answer for this question is neither one nor two. You have to be very clear about each and every word of this statement. Sweeping over poida kudadu. Okay, which among the following latitudes would experience overhead midday direct rays of sunlight? If you know about the tilting is by 23.5 degree, and the 23.5 degree tilting irukkaranaala during its revolutionary path direct rays of sunlight will be traveling up to a maximum of Tropic of Cancer on the north, Tropic of Capricorn on the south. அப்ப எது ரெண்டும் வராது, Arctic circle வராது, Antarctic circle வராது, because the question is asking about overhead midday direct rays of sunlight. This can be understood from this particular diagram. We know about the seasonal variations with respect to the revolution of Earth. அப்படி பார்க்க போகும்போது when the earth is tilted towards the sun, the direct rays will hit on the tropic of Cancer. இதுதான் நம்ம என்ன சொல்றோம்? Summer solstice, June 21. When it is tilted away from the sun, direct rays will be falling on the tropic of Capricorn, which is called as winter solstice. But the direct rays never gone beyond 23.5 degree. If earth would have tilted by 30 degree, 30 degree வரைக்கும் போயிருக்கும். The tilting makes earth to have its maximum reach on 23.5 degree. அந்த 23.5 degree 90 ல இருந்து மைனஸ் பண்ணிட்டோம்னா 66.5 degree தான் Arctic circle and Antarctic circle, which indicates a 6 months of daytime and nighttime during its revolution. Every number has its meaning, right? So answer for this question is 1 and 3. The question is asking about, so previously we have discussed that tilting makes it to experience the direct rays of sunlight in different latitudes, right? In the same way, the reasons which are behind the variation in the seasons is also the reasons behind variation in the daytime and nighttime of a particular day. During the summer, the day will be longer and the night will be shorter. During the equinox position only, equal amount of day and night will be there. 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. In the context of that, in the context of that, variation in the length of daytime and nighttime from season to season are due to which among the following factors? Revolution obviously has to be there. It is because of the tilted, it has to be there. But whether you have to take rotation into consideration, அப்படி டவுட் வந்தா கூட ஆப்ஷன் அதுக்கான ஸ்பேஸ் இல்லை, ரைட்டா? ஸோ இது ரெண்டு தெரிஞ்சாலே you can arrive at the answer. Rotation is the reason for creation of day and night, but variation in daytime and nighttime is due to the remaining two reasons. புரியுதா என்ன சொல்றேன்றது? Right. Then on the 21st June, that is during the summer solstice, which among the following phenomena is are associated with earth? And the logic adutha follow up question. Longer day and shorter night in where? Northern hemisphere. அப்படினா advanced sunrise, delayed sunset in northern hemisphere, because the question is asking about 21st June. The sun does not set below the horizon of the Arctic circle. For the entire 6 months, it will experience 24 hours of daylight. So option 2 is right. I mean, statement 2 is right. Statement 1 is wrong. இதுதான் நம்ம வந்து horizon என்றது என்னது? The line at which the sun rises and sets, but it is an imaginary line. அது real line கிடையாது, right? So during the summer, early sunrise will be there, later sunset will be there. During winter, விடியறது 7 மணிக்கு தான் விடியும், இருட்டாகிறது 5 மணிக்கே இருட்டாயிடும். Delayed sunlight, early sunset. இத வந்து எந்த நாள்ல எந்த மந்த்ல கேக்குறாங்கன்றத பொறுத்து கரெக்ட்டா ஆன்சர் பண்ணணும், ரைட்? So next question. Question number 37. Consider the following statements with respect to Earth's interior layers. இதுவா? இது என்னன்னா இந்த ஆப்ஷன் தான். Here, during this entire period, when it is traveling from this region to this region, right? இங்க direct rays of sunlight இங்க 23.5 டிகிரிக்கு மேல படுதா? இங்க மேல பாருங்க, இந்த என்டையர் டே டைமுமே எந்த ஆங்கிளுக்கு எந்த டிகிரிக்கு மேல இருக்கு? தட் இஸ் பியாண்ட் தி 66.5 டிகிரி ஆர்டிக் சர்க்கிள். அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? இந்த என்டையர் ரீஜன்லயுமே இட் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்சஸ் 24 hours ஆஃப் டே. அப்படின்னா என்ன அர்த்தம்? ஹாரிசான்ன்ற லைனுக்கு கீழே சன்னு இறங்கல, ஹாரிசானுக்கு கீழே இறங்கினாதானே அது நைட்டுன்னு அர்த்தம். The statement is talking about what? The sun does not set below the horizon at Arctic circle. அது Arctic circle இருந்தே சொல்றது. Arctic circle இதுதானே Arctic circle. இப்போ இந்த Arctic circle இந்த டே அன்னைக்கு கன்சிடர் பண்ணீங்கன்னா 24 it is a statement which has been taken from previous years of UPSC question. அது அங்க இருந்த ஒரே அதே ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட். அது ஆர்டிகா அண்டார்டிகா கேட்டதாங்க நான் மாத்தி கொடுத்திருக்கேன். Do you understand now? இப்போ புரியுதா? Right. Yes, consider the following statements with respect to Earth's interior layers. The continental crust is thicker, right, but not denser. அப்ப first statement தப்பு. The core is the densest layer, but occupies the mantle occupies the largest volume. So answer for this question is neither one nor two. So largest, almost 84% of volume is occupied by mantle. அதுக்கப்புறம் 14% core. ஃபைனலா நம்மளோட உடம்புல இருக்க ஸ்கின் மாதிரி தான் crust. Very lower proportion தான் occupy பண்ணிருக்கு. Compared to the continental crust and oceanic crust is more denser than the continental crust. Why? Because it has been pressured by the larger presence of ocean waters. Right. Question number 38. That question is about matching the discontinuity with respect to different layers of earth. Among எதுதான் ரைட்? இது ரெண்டுமே ஆல்டர்னேட்டிவா இருக்கு. கரெக்டா? So third is right. Option A. Right from our crust to core, the separation of continental crust and oceanic crust is indicated by Konrad discontinuity. Next, Mohorovic, Repeti, Guttenberg, and Lehmann. This continuity indicates that the continuous proportion of these seismic waves discontinues from its orientation, because seismic waves is the source for identification of interior of the earth, and the propagation of the wave, அதனுடைய continuous ஆன propagation வந்து discontinue ஆயிடுச்சுனா it is transmitting from one medium to another medium. That is the point which indicates the boundary between two different layers. It has been identified by different seismologists at different periods. அவங்க பேரே வச்சிட்டாங்க, வேற என்ன பேர் வைக்கிறதுன்னு தெரியாம. ஓகேவா? So these are all the boundaries of different layers. In the Earth's crust, the question is asking about crust. Arrange the composition of elements in ascending order, lower to higher. அப்படினா எது வரணும்? Crust na lowest iron, largest oxygen. Option C. இதே அடுத்த क्वेश्चनல மாத்தி கேட்டிருந்தது, ரைட்டா? Crust na largest proportion oxygen, second தான் iron, right? Sorry. Crust na largest proportion oxygen, silicon, aluminium and iron. But if we take the case of whole earth என்றப்போது iron occupies the largest proportion, second largest is oxygen. அதுதான் அடுத்த question, ரைட்டா? அடுத்த question is asking about whole earth and we are asking about descending order. Descending na என்னது? Higher to lower. அப்ப இருக்கலே largest proportion with respect to overall earth na என்னது? iron. அப்ப iron first வரணும். அங்க iron first வந்ததுக்கான reason least to higher, இங்க iron first வந்ததுக்கான reason higher to least. Okay va? So answer option A. So question number 41. Consider the following statements with respect to black holes. We have already discussed about the black holes. Black holes traps everything that falls into it, including the light. Yes, it is because of this characteristics we doesn't identify the existence of black hole. And a black hole oda gravitational attraction doesn't allow the light to even escape out of it. அந்த அளவுக்கான intense gravitational effect இருக்கும். Black hole further collapses to become a neutron star. Neutron star தான் collapses to become the black hole. Even black hole universe collapse பண்ற அளவுக்கு capacity இருக்குன்றாங்க, ரைட்டா? Suppose second statement is wrong, right? Third statement is recently in the news, right? Sagaritas A is a black hole that belongs to the Milky Way galaxy and it is considered to be the center point of the Milky Way galaxy. புரியுதுங்களா? அந்த ஒரு black hole உடைய center point தான் singularity. Center of the universe singularity தான். Any object உடைய center point singularity. இந்த singularity உடைய ஒரு black hole உடைய outermost extension தான் we can call it as event horizon. Why horizon என்றது கொஞ்ச நேரத்துக்கு முன்னாடி என்ன பார்த்தோம்? Horizon is the line which indicates sunlight, sunset and sunrise ன்னு சொன்னோமா? லைட் இதுக்குள்ளார இருக்கிற வரைக்கும் நமக்கு தெரியாது black hole உடைய boundary வரைக்கும். black hole உடைய boundary எப்ப தெரியும்னா லைட் நமக்கு தெரியுதுன்னா அதான் boundary நமக்கு தெரிய வரும். The bending of the light due to the gravitational attraction is called as gravitational lensing. The observation of gravitational lensing indicates the boundary of a black hole that is named as event horizon. So event horizon நம்ம ரீசெண்டா கூட கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்போம்ல, the first ever image of a black hole was released last year by European Space Agency. by capturing the bending of light by the concept called as gravitational lensing. Because light can even bend or light can even change its orientation by the gravitational force of the universe. Another gravitation is one of the most fundamental force of our universe. So answer for this question is 1 and 3 only. Question number 42. Which of the following are the advantages of direct seeding of rice? Direct seeding of rice is against the concept of conventional transplantation of seedlings. நம்ம என்ன பண்ணுவோம், அரிசினா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒரு இடத்துல சின்ன இடத்துல விளைய வச்சிருவோம், அதுக்கப்புறம் அதுல இருந்து எடுத்துட்டு போய் நாத்த தானே இன்னொரு இடத்துல நடுவோம். பட் இட் இஸ் அகேன்ஸ்ட் திஸ் கான்செப்ட். அப்படின்னா reduced methane emission because lowering waterlogging condition, right? The time period of the cultivation is also reduced due to the direct seeding of rice. It is one of the advantage. Obviously it would result in less water consumption, but is it so? The problem of weeds will be reduced. It increases the, because direct seedling in rapombo and there is a scope for enormous growth of fish. It is one of the important problem of direct seeding of rice. So answer for this question is 1 and 3 only. The similar question with respect to intensification of rice was asked in UPSC, right? Rice intensification based panni ketiranga, right? Question number 44. Which among the following are considered as indirect sources for knowing about the interior of the earth? Indirect sources na edu varakudadu, volcanic eruptions varakudadu, meedi ellame indirect sources. Apply that knowledge with respect to another thing, we can derive at some conclusion. It is not a direct evidence, right? Volcanic eruptions is one of the direct evidences of the presence of material within the deeper part of the earth. So it cannot be regarded as an indirect source. Which is the most important indirect source? It is the seismic waves. Seismic waves அல்லது earthquake வச்சு தான் interior of the earth நம்மளால கண்டுபிடிக்க முடிஞ்சது. வேற எதை வச்சு நம்மளால கண்டுபிடிச்சிருக்க முடிஞ்சிருக்கு? So answer for this question is 1, 2, 1, 4 only. So consider the following statements regarding earthquakes. The place where the earthquakes originated in the crustal portion is called as epicenter. Epicenter is on the surface. The place where it originated. Which one? No, it is not. We are knowing about the information through the magnetic field. Magnetic field or a relation with respect to another object, right? It is through which we are getting into some conclusion, right? Other than direct and indirect. If that is the case, gravitational force is also a direct force, right? So first statement is wrong. Why? Because it is focus or hypocenter. Epicenter என்றது the closest point on the surface of the earth. Crustal portion originate ஆனாலும் the question is asking about origination. Crustal na until the bottom portion of the lithosphere it is called as crustal. Surface மட்டும் crust consider பண்ணக்கூடாது, right? So the Richter scale can be used to measure the magnitude, whereas Mercalli scale is used to measure the intensity. Second statement is right. So this is the image, right? Whenever an earthquake is originated, the origination point is called as focus or hypocenter. The closest point on the surface is called as epicenter. We can observe very accurate information about that earthquakes through the seismograph, which may be located at the epicenter. Question number 46. Which among the following layers of earth where both the body waves and S waves can travel? Both the body waves and the P waves and S waves. இந்த இடத்துல S waves கன்சிடர் பண்றதுனால எது மட்டும் தான் டிராவல் ஆகும்? Solidல மட்டும் தான் travel. Even P waves can travel in any of the medium. But the question is asking about the combination of P waves and S waves. So obviously, which among these are solid in nature? Crust and lower mantle. So answer is option B. You need to know about the characteristics of the waves and you need to know about the layers. அது ரெண்டோட காம்பினேஷன்ல இந்த क्वेश्चनக்கு ஆன்சர் பண்ண முடியும். So this is through which a P waves and S waves can travel differently within the interior of the earth. Okay, va? Consider the following statements regarding the earthquake waves. P waves travels faster with the highest frequency. It is traveling at a highest frequency. Speed of the P waves is way higher. But the question, First statement correct. Highest இருந்தாலுமே it is not the destructive wave. Destructive wave என்றது எது? Surface waves or L waves. So first statement is wrong. L waves are the surface waves with the least frequency and can travel only through the solid medium. Yes, L waves சரி, S waves சரி, yes, solid medium மட்டும்தான் travel ஆகும், right? So whenever a seismograph is receiving these three waves on the epicenter region, it is P waves which arrives first, right? Then the amplitude of L waves is higher, but the frequency of P waves is higher. Amplitude அதிகமா இருக்கிறதுனாலயும் சர்ஃபேஸ்ல இப்படி ஹரிசாண்டலா டிராவல் ஆகிறதுனாலயும் it can make a higher damage on higher collapse on the surface of the earth. So L waves, even though being a least velocity, even though traveling at a least velocity, it can create more damage on the surface of the earth. This is the important point you need to know about that. Question number 48. Consider the following statements regarding shadow zone of the earthquakes. The shadow zone of earthquake is completely beyond 105 degree from the epicenter. Right or wrong? 105 degree க்கு மேல எங்கயுமே we cannot observe the S waves. The shadow waves of P waves is completely beyond 145 degree. No. Right? 145 degree ல இருந்து 103 வரைக்கும் தான் P waves உடைய shadow zone. 105 degree க்கு மேல போயிடுச்சுனா P waves உடைய shadow zone கிடையாது. You can observe the existence of P waves beyond 142 degree. 142 degree or 145 degree. Right? So shadow zone என்றது என்னது? The region where we are unable to receive the information about the seismic waves because of higher bending when it travels to the molten liquid layer of the outer core. புரியுதுங்களா என்ன சொல்றேன்றது? அதை பேஸ் பண்ணி பார்த்தோம்னா answer for this question is 1 only. Then which among the following can be regarded as major endogenic forces responsible for geomorphic process? Definitely convective force has to be there. Gravitation may be endogenic in nature, but it is not a major changes. அப்படியே பார்த்தாலும் gravitation is not a part of endogenic force, it is a part of exogenic force. இந்த gravitationனால நடக்கக்கூடிய changes எது? Landslides, that is part of mass movements or mass wasting. நீங்க gravitation வச்சு குழம்ப கூடாதுன்றதுக்காக தான் இருக்கிறதுலயே least option you have to eliminate. Among these four, least probable if you consider it as an endogenic na எது? ஏனா endogenic na உள்ள இருந்து ஜெனரேட் ஆகிறது தான், பட் உள்ள இருந்து வெளிநோக்கி வரணும், வெளியில இருந்து உள்நோக்கி போக கூடாது. வெளியில இருந்து உள்நோக்கி போறதுக்கு பேர் என்னது? கிராவிடேஷன். புரியுது என்ன சொல்றேன்றது? So gravitation need to be neglected, remaining everything that is primordial heat, accumulated heat within the earth. Then the rotational friction, here the rotation indicates the centrifugal force. Centrifugal force travels from the center to the outer layer, which is endogenic in nature, which creates variation on the surface of the earth. Right? இங்க rotation யாராவது eliminate பண்ணீங்களா? So answer for this question is 1, 3 and 4. Which among the following can be part of diastrophic forces? Diastrophic na enadhu? Diastrophism is a part of endogenic force which indicates slower movements. Epirogenic, orogenic. Volcanic eruptions and seismic forces are sudden forces. Diastrophism meaning தெரிஞ்சா answer arrive பண்ணலாம். Epirogenic is a continent building force, whereas orogenic is a mountain building force. So answer for this question is 2, 1, 4. Which among the following exogenic processes are aided by external agents like running water, wind and glacier? எது வரக்கூடாது? Weathering is in situ, that is it doesn't been changed by any external agent. It just a disintegration of the rock. It is the first process in the exogenic geomorphic process. Weathering na enadhu? Pressure and temperature changes naala disintegration மட்டும் தான் நடக்கும். Displacement is by this external agent. Displacement vanduchunale it is called as erosion. Whenever an object is eroded, it has to be deposited somewhere else. All the agents which are the reasons behind the erosion is also been acting as an agents behind the deposition. But weathering மட்டும் வரக்கூடாது. Remaining erosion and deposition are aided by external agents. In the difference தெரியும். Right? Then question number 55. Which among the following soil movements are created due to gravitational forces but not due to any external agents? The question is asking about components of mass wasting or mass movements. All of these four, all of the above. So these are all the various images which indicates the difference in the movement of the materials along the slopes of a mountain, right? But the reason is same. It is not aided by any external agents. Which among the following exogenic processes are categorized under denudation? It is a common term which indicates degradation. Abdina, all the exogenic processes are considered to be the part of denudation. Idhula weathering arrow eliminate panningla. All of these are taken into consideration. So everything denudation and degradation, reduction, அழிவுக்கு உருவாகிறது. வெதரிங்ல அழிவுக்கு தானே உருவாகுது. மீதி எல்லாமே அழிவுக்கு உருவாகிறது. It is a statement which has been given in your NCERT book. Right. Which among the following are the factors which may influence weathering process? Weathering abdinale climate has to be there on the basis of the rock type, slope orientation, vegetation, biological weathering. Biological weathering innale vegetation varanulla. Slope orientation na the nature of the slope. Okay, va. Nature of the slope may be affected by the incident ray of the sunlight. Windward side irukku, leeward side irukku. Wind as an agent of erosion. எப்படி வேணாலும் நீங்க கன்சிடர் பண்ணலாம்ல. ஸ்லோப் ஓரியன்டேஷனை இன்க்ளூட் பண்றதுக்கு நான் இவ்வளவு ரீசன் சொல்றேன். வராதுன்னு சொல்றதுக்கு ஏதாவது ரீசன் சொல்ல முடியுமா? புரியுதா நான் என்ன சொல்றேன்றது? அப்ப வராதுன்னு எந்த ரீசனும் சொல்ல முடியலனா you have to take it as a inclusive component. இப்படிதான் ஆன்சர் அரைவ் பண்ணணும். நம்மளுக்கு டைரக்டா இது படிச்ச மாதிரி தெரியலனாலுமே அதை நம்ம இது வரைக்கும் கேள்விப்பட்டிருக்கவே மாட்டோம். பட் யூ ஹாவ் டு பி வெரி ஷியோர் தட் யூ ஹாவ் டு எலிமினேட் வித் த சாலிட் எவிடன்ஸ். அப்படி இல்லைன்னா டேக் இட் ஆஸ் அன் இன்க்ளூசிவ் காம்பனன்ட். ரைட்டா? ஸோ ஆல் ஆஃப் தீஸ் ஃபோர் ஆர் கன்சிடர்ட் டு பி தி ப்ராசஸ் ஆஃப் வெதரிங். ஏன்னா வெதரிங் அப்படின்னாலே ப்ரெஷர் அண்ட் டெம்பரேச்சர் சேஞ்சஸ். ஸ்லோப்போடைய ஓரியன்டேஷனை பொறுத்து ஹவு மச் ஆஃப் சன்லைட் இட் மே ரிசீவ். விண்டு வரக்கூடாது, சன்லைட் இட் மே ரிசீவ். How much pressure it may exceed, how much pressure it could experience depends upon the altitudinal variation. இது எல்லாமே ஸ்லோப்போட நம்ம கன்சிடர் பண்ணலாமா? அப்படி பார்க்க போகும்போது ஸ்லோப்போடைய ஓரியன்டேஷன்ன்றதை நெக்லெக்ட் பண்ணிக்கிறதுக்கு என்கிட்ட சாலிட் எவிடன்ஸ் இல்லை. அப்படின்னா ஐ ஹவ் டேக்கன் இன்டு, ஏன்னா ஸ்லோப் ஓரியன்டேஷன்ன்றதை படிச்சிருக்க மாட்டோம். படிக்கலனாலும் அது வருதா வரலையான்றதை கெஸ் பண்ணணும். ஓகேவா? Which among the following types of weathering can be categorized under physical or mechanical weathering? எது மட்டும் தான் வரக்கூடாது? Oxidation is a chemical weathering process. Exfoliation என்றது it is the peeling of the outer layer, right? ஒரு ஆனியன் உரியிறது மாதிரி. It is that is frost wedging என்றது it is a physical weathering. That is whenever a filled up water is converted into solid, it results in the breakage of the rock. இது oxidation என்றது addition of oxygen, that is a concept called as rusting, which resulted in the creation of red soils. Right? It is an addition of oxygen, that is oxidation is a chemical weathering. So answer for this question is 1 and 3. Question number 60. With reference to Indian gas exchange, consider the following statements. So it is a digital platform where the buying and selling of natural gas and its associated components are taking place in India, right? இத படிச்சிருந்தோம்னா, that is the Indian gas exchange does not allow the sale of imported natural gas as its prices are decided by the government. Actually, the trading of the natural gas happening through the Indian gas exchange is happening only for the imported gases. It is not for domestic gases till now. Right? இதுதான் நியூஸ்ல இருந்தது. Domestic gases are based பண்ணி first organization who has registered itself as a part of Indian gas exchange, the ONGC. So இது தெரிஞ்சிருந்ததுன்னா இந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் தப்புன்றது தெரியணும். அப்படி இல்ல அப்படின்னா லாஜிக்கலா பாத்தீங்கன்னா, when it is dealing with imported projects, how come government can be a decider of that price? அப்படி லாஜிக்கலா பார்த்தாலுமே இந்த ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் கான்ட்ராடிக்டா இல்லையா? Domestic prices are இருந்துச்சுன்னா it will be decided, it will be considered as an administrative price of government. But the first statement is talking about imported. இம்போர்ட்டட்ல கவர்மெண்ட் எப்படி பிரைஸ் ஃபிக்ஸ் பண்ண முடியும்? இட் வில் பி ஃபிக்ஸ்டு பை மார்க்கெட். மார்க்கெட் ஃபிக்ஸட் ரேட்டா தானே இருக்க முடியும். அப்படி அந்த லாஜிக்கலா பார்த்தாலும் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் தப்பு, அல்லது இது இன்ஃபர்மேஷனா தெரிஞ்சிருந்தாலும் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் தப்பு. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஸ்டேட்மெண்ட் தப்பு, மீதி உள்ள ரெண்டுமே கரெக்ட். The trading of these gases is allowed in both spot exchange as well as future exchange. That is forward. That is on the basis of the futures and options. The buyer and seller can enter into an agreement. And this is the most important information in the current affairs. ONGC has become India's first exploration and petro production company to trade domestic gases on the IGX. Okay, va? So answer for this question is 2 pair only, or 2 statements only. Then question number 63. Which among the following biological organism involves in weathering activity? All of the above. That too, these two are considered to be the pioneer species in ecological succession. Right? First, or bare rock a region which is not known for any type of vegetation. First initiate பண்ணக்கூடிய pioneer species இவங்க தான். Right? Lichens and mosses. Then obviously plants and animals, everyone knows about that. So answer for this question is all of the above. Consider the following statements regarding igneous rock. They are formed as a result of solidified molten magma, right? Which contains the fossils of plants and animals. Idu varaikum correct. Fossils of plants and animals nala adu enna rock? Sedimentary rock. Basalt is an example of extrusive type of igneous rock. Correct da, adula enna kolapam. குழப்பி கரெக்டான ஆன்சரை குழப்ப ஆரம்பிச்சிருச்சு. whereas granite is an example of extrusive type of igneous rock. இதுல எந்த டெஸ்ட் வைக்கல, அதனால தான் குழப்பம் வருதா? So answer is 2 only. So basalt rocks are volcanic rocks are extrusive in nature. Granite, gabbro, diorite, these are all examples for intrusive nature. உள்ளுக்குள்ளாரே until it reaches the surface, when it gets solidified, it is called as intrusive or plutonic rocks. When it is exposed to the outer surface, it is called as basalt or volcanic rock. Ocean crust are known for larger presence. Which type of these two rocks? Basalt rocks. Continental crust is known for granite rocks or plutonic rocks or intrusive rocks. Because of the larger thickness, it is impossible for the lower lying magma to erupt until reaching its surface. Question number 65. Consider the following statements regarding again igneous rock. Acidic type of igneous rock have higher percentage of silica content and lower percentage of oxides. Common sense apply பண்ணுங்க. Oxides நாலே bases அதிகமா இருக்குதா அதிகமா இருந்துச்சுனா acidic, bases குறைவா இருந்தா acidic. First statement is correct. தெரியல அப்படினாலும் common sense. Basic type of igneous rock has higher percentage of oxide content and lower percentage of silica. Both of these statements are correct. Acidic example the granitic rocks. Basic examples the volcanic or basaltic rocks. that is formation of the sedimentary rocks, right? Mechanically formed sandstone. Correct. Chemically formed potash. Correct. Organically formed? Yeah. Organically formed da. Right? Coral reefs mattum kediyadhu, limestone unda. So all of these 3 pairs are correct. So any of the type of rocks, either it is igneous rocks or sedimentary rocks, when it is experiencing variation in its outer surface due to temperature and pressure variation, it will be converted into metamorphic rock. Granite is converted into igneous. Common sense oda parunga, sandstone marble convert aguma? Limestone, sandstone, quartzite. History la என்னது பாலியோலித்திக் நியோலித்திக் படிச்சிருந்தாலே இது தெரிஞ்சிருக்கும். ரைட்டா? So answer is 1 only. Question number 68. Which among the following factors controls the formation of soil? All of the above. Which among the following elements forms the part of the sedimentary cycle of geochemical cycle of Earth? Phosphorus. Nitrogen and carbon belongs to gaseous cycle. In the region is the reservoir or the source region for that mineral, adapurtha it belongs to gaseous cycle, sedimentary cycle andrathu. Okay va? So answer is 2 only. Which among the following elements forms the gaseous cycle of biogeochemical cycle? Methane theriyano kandipa. Sulfur ஏன் வரக்கூடாது? Sulfur dioxide வருதுனா sulfur வராதா? Sulfur dioxide is erupted into the atmosphere and it results in acid rain. அப்ப sulfur gaseous cycle வருதா? Phosphorus na gaseous வரவே வராது. Entire thing is happening in the surface itself. அந்த லாஜிக் தெரிஞ்சாலே சல்ஃபர் வருதுன்னு தெரியணுமா? Ammonia is also part of the gaseous cycle. Answer is கார்பன் ஆக்சிஜன்லாம் கொடுத்தா ஈஸியா கண்டுபிடிச்சிடலாம். இந்த மாதிரியான மைனர் லெவலும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். Then consider the following forces. Continental drift தியரிக்கு எந்த ஃபோர்ஸ் மட்டும் வராது? Pole fleeing force வரும். அவர் சொன்னபடி gravitation எல்லாம் வரும், இது மட்டும் வராது. It is the most important drawback of continental drift theory because he failed to address whatever is happening on the oceanic region. This is one of the important drawback. அதை eliminate பண்ணிட்டீங்கன்னா you can arrive at the answer. Then question number 72 again with respect to continental drift theory, which of these are given as evidences except was mid-oceanic ridges? அதை மட்டும் eliminate because most of the time UPSC wants you to find that wrong thing in the options. எல்லாமே தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும்ன்றதை விட எது வராதுன்றது தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். First look out for that thing which leads you to eliminate everything, right? ஓஷனை பத்தியே தெரியாதவர் மிட் ஓஷனிக் ரிஜஸ் பத்தி சொல்லியிருப்பாரு. மிட் ஓஷனிக் பத்தி சொல்லணும்னா கன்வெக்டிவ் ஃபோர்சஸ் தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும். போன கொஸ்டினுக்கு ஆன்சர் தெரிஞ்சிச்சுன்னா இந்த கொஸ்டினுக்கு ஆன்சர் தெரியும். பட் இட் இஸ் டாக்கிங் அபவுட் கான்டினென்டல் ட்ரிஃப்ட். கொஸ்டின் வந்து கான்டினென்டல் ட்ரிஃப்ட் பத்தி தான். ஓகே, அதுவும் அதனாலதான் ஆல்ஃபிரட் வெகனர்னு பேரை போட்டே சொல்லியாச்சு. சரியா? ரைட். Consider the following statements regarding convectional current theory of Arthur Holmes. Convectional currents are generated due to the radioactive elements causing thermal differences in the mantle portion. Adu endha portion? That is the asthenospheric region of the mantle. It causes the convective movement. The convective currents are responsible for both convergence as well as divergence because the basic endogenic force, which is the reason behind the plate tectonics. Both of these are correct. Continental drift theory உடைய drawbacks address பண்றதுக்காக வந்தது convectional theory. Convectional theory உடைய process வச்சு sea flow spread theory, sea flow spread theoryக்கு supportive paleomagnetism theory, இது எல்லாம் சேர்ந்தது தான் plate tectonics theory. So this is the idea what is talking about convectional movement which is happening in the asthenospheric region of our upper mantle. Right. Consider the following statements regarding paleomagnetism. Earth's magnetic property பேசணுமா? And the magnetic property which indicates that Earth's magnetic polarity gets reversed after every certain 1000 years. So during that reversal process, whenever a new rock is created, we have already talked that interior of the Earth has larger iron component with itself. So whenever a rock is generated from the atmosphere, it definitely have iron as a component with itself. Iron as a part of the rock is definitely being aligned with respect to the magnetic field of the Earth. So magnetism along with the rock alignment, both of these gives information about the sea floor spreading. This is called as paleomagnetism. Purida? So rising magma assumes the polarity in the direction of the Earth geomagnetic field at the time when it is solidified into a basaltic rock. It helps in understanding the concept of sea floor spreading exclusively along the it is not convergent because divergent la irukkoodi mid oceanic ridges la adula irundhu develop aanadhu da sea floor spreading endra concept, right? The alignment of different rocks when it is created in the mid oceanic regions due to divergence of the plates resulted in the similar polarity when we measure equidistance from the center of the crustal portion. This concept is been highly defined as a concept of paleomagnetism. It is acting as a supporting evidence for sea floor spreading theory. So answer for this question is one only. Consider the following statements regarding sea floor spreading. And the rendu therinjadna idu sollila. The rocks of the ocean crust near the oceanic ridges are much younger than the rocks of the continental crust. Because oceanic crusts are known for higher deformation, higher breakage, so that new rocks are continuously erupted from the magma, so that it has larger number of basaltic rocks, which is way younger than the granitic rocks of the continental crust. The age of the rocks increases as we move from the crust of the mid-oceanic ridges. The oldest rock will be placed on the outermost edge. The new rock will be created on the region where that eruption happens. So this is an indication where the seafloor spreading is happening as a result of divergence of two oceanic plates. So youngest rocks will be found here, and the age will keeps on increasing while we are moving from. This concept addresses the drifting of the continent, which was not addressed by continental drift theory by Alfred Wegener. So both of these statements are correct with respect to seafloor spreading. Harry Hess has proposed this theory. Okay. So plate movement, right? Convergent, destructive, convergent, divergent, construct. New landforms are created as a result of divergence. New rocks are created. But already created rocks are subducted below the molten magma during the convergence. So it is a destructive margin, it is a constructive margin. Conservatives na enadhu endha maatramum illama adhe palasiye vechukkonumன்ற ideology உள்ளவங்க தானே conservatives னு சொல்லுவாங்க. So litho transform movement would not make any major changes in the landform. So transform boundary is an indication of conservative margin. So answer for this question is only one pair is matched correctly. So you have to know about the major plate movements. Pacific plate, Antarctic plate oda margin convergence or divergence? Pacific plate, Antarctic தவிர மீதி எல்லா பிளேட்டோட கன்வர்ஜென்ட். பட் அண்டார்டிக்ல இருந்து மேல வந்தாதானே எல்லாத்தோடையும் போய் கன்வர்ஜ் ஆக முடியும். புரியுது என்ன சொல்றது? கீழ இருந்து வர அண்டார்டிக் பிளேட்ல இருந்து தான் சுத்தி இருக்கக்கூடிய சவுத் அமெரிக்கன் பிளேட், சுத்தி இருக்கக்கூடிய சவுத் அமெரிக்கன் பிளேட், யூரேஷியன் பிளேட் எல்லாத்தோடையும் பசிபிக் பிளேட் கெட்ஸ் கன்வர்ஜ்ட், but it gets detached from the Antarctic plate. So first statement is correct. African plate with Arabian plate. Convergent. It is divergent in nature. African plate with Arabian plate. Convergence or divergence? Arabian plate and African plate are separated by Red Sea. Divergent. Eurasian plate with Philippine plate. Philippine plate, Indonesian plate na sutti mutti ella edathilum convergence da. It is because of which it is known for larger number of volcanic islands. Convergent. Nazca plate with the South American plate. Convergent or divergent? Convergent. It is because of this convergence it had resulted in the creation of Andes mountains. Fold mountains or volcanic mountains will be created as a result of convergence alone, not due to divergence. Purida? So how many pairs are correctly matched here? 2 pairs. Question number 78. It is a simple question, right? Everyone knows that because recently the crisis of semiconductors have been experienced worldwide, especially India, right? Solar cells, especially silica, is used as a mobile phones. Embedded system semiconductors. Refrigerator is also known for having the semiconductors as its component. Question number 81. Which among the following events may be associated with the convergence of two oceanic plates? When two plates are converged with each other, when two oceanic plates are converged with each other, trenches will be formed. Shallow as well as deep focus. Both of these are known for earthquakes where the subduction is happening. Formation of volcanics on the, when one plate is subducted below the another plate, the region where it's subduct is known for creation of trenches. The subduction region is known for earthquake generation. Subduct on a material, when it is entering into the molten magmatic region, it emerges to the outer surface in the form of volcanoes. When these volcanoes are become dormant and exposed to the outer surface, it would result in the creation of islands. So all of these four are associated with the ocean convergence, right? Traditional தெரியறத விட கொஞ்சம் அதனோட associated. Everyone knows that Rift Valley is part of continent divergence, but ocean divergence Rift valleys will be there. Trenches are created when ocean are convergence, but also created when ocean continent are convergent, especially on the oceanic side. Continent side la fold mountains create agum, volcanic mountains. Best example is Andes. Fold mountains, continent convergence is everyone knows that, but continent ocean convergence. So all of these three are known for the presence. Major ஆனதையும் தவிர்த்துட்டு minor ஆனதையும் தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். So question number 83. In which among the major earthquake prone belts of the world the earthquake and volcanism are associated with the tectonic divergence? The question is asking about divergence. அப்படினா எது வரணும்? இந்த டைவர்ஜென்ஸ்ன்ற கடைசி வார்த்தை பார்க்கலனா எல்லாத்துக்கும் மைண்ட்ல வருது இதுதான். தப்பு பண்ணீங்களா? இத கடைசி வார்த்தை வரைக்கும் क्वेश्चनல படிக்கணும். ஓகேவா? So 65% of earthquake and volcanism is happening in this belt, but this is a zone of convergence. But the question is asking about divergence. Divergence na mid Atlantic belt மட்டும்தான். Right? So Pacific ring of fire is known for convergence. Mid continental belt, the same line on which the Eurasian plate is converging with the African plate on one side, Indo-Australian plate on another side. Indo-Australian plate convergence with Eurasian plate had resulted in Himalayas. Adhe Eurasian plate oda panna pombodhu it had resulted in the formation of which mountain systems? Alpine mountain systems in the Mediterranean Sea region. அதே இடத்துல ஓஷனிக் ரீஜன்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய கன்வர்ஜென்ஸ்னால it also resulted in the creation of volcanoes, Vosges volcanoes. அது பத்தி அடுத்த क्वेश्चन. That is, Himalayan mountains have emerged out of a great geosyncline called as Tethys, because initially Pangaea அப்படின்றது லாரேஷியா கோண்ட்வானான் இருந்தது. இன் பிட்வீன் ரீஜன்ல இருக்கக்கூடிய டெத்திசில தான் இப்போ என்ன ஆயிருக்கு? ஹிமாலயாஸ் ஃபார்ம் ஆயிருக்கு. The marine deposits of the Tethys are this part of Himalayan origination. So obviously this is the zone which we call it as mid-continental belt region. The same line on which, because the question is very specific, it is talking about the Tethys region. அப்படினா இதோட எந்த சிஸ்டம் மட்டும் தான் வரணும்? ஆல்ப்ஸ் மட்டும் தான் வரும். Rockies are present in, இத வந்து fold mountains என்ற கான்டெக்ஸ்டோட கன்சிடர் பண்ணீங்கன்னா மூணுமே கரெக்ட்னு தெரியும். But the question is very detailed and specific about the region of Tethys. இத மூணுமே போட்டாலுங்க யாரா இருப்பீங்களே? Right. So Andes is also fold mountains. Both, all of these three are example for fold mountains. But the question is asking about the region where the Tethys were present. So answer is one only. That is, the question is more specific about the mid-continental belt region. Andes இங்க இருக்குது, Rockies இங்க இருக்குது, அங்க எங்கயோ நார்த் அமெரிக்கால இருக்கு. அதுக்கும் ஹிமாலயாஸோட ஃபார்மேஷனுக்கு சம்பந்தம் கிடையாது. ஓகேவா? So Red Sea is created as a result of divergence of Great African Rift Valley. One of the largest continental divergence are happening in the East African Rift region. San Andreas Fault, நிறைய பேர் கேள்விப்பட்டிருப்பீங்க, Californian region, is created along the transform boundary. Transform boundary நால ஒரு land deform ஆகி அது மூலமா ஒரு ஸ்ட்ரக்சரல் சேஞ்ச் இருக்குதுன்னா அது இந்த சான் ஆண்ட்ரியஸ் ஃபால்ட் தான். It is known for transform boundary, which is a part of North American and Pacific plate. So both of these statements are correct, right? So if we take the case of Arabian plate, முன்னாடி ஒரு கேள்வி கேட்டிருந்தோமா, the zone between Arabian plate and African plate is known for divergence. This divergence has resulted in the accumulation of Red Sea over this region. And this is also an extension of a great African rift, East African rift. In the rift region la da, this rift region is also known for creation of block mountains. This rift region is also known for creation of volcanoes. This rift region is also known for creation of valleys. Those valleys were filled up with waters are known for. Victoria Lake is present in this region. Mount Kilimanjaro is present in this region. Okay, one side இதனோட extension had resulted in Red Sea, on the another side it has resulted in Gulf of Aden. இது எல்லாமே ஒரே plate marginோட resultant. ஓகேவா, அதே மாதிரி தான் இந்த நார்த் அமெரிக்கன் பிளேட்டும் பசிபிக் பிளேட்டும் டிரான்ஸ்ஃபார்ம்னால கிரியேட் ஆயிருக்கக்கூடிய ஒரு லார்ஜஸ்ட் செக்ஷனுக்கான ஃபால்ட் தான் சான் ஆண்ட்ரியஸ் ஃபால்ட். But you should not get confused with the convergent or divergence. It is the only known example for transform boundary, San Andreas fault. Okay, which type of following mountains can be categorized under volcanic? Appalachians கண்டிப்பா வரக்கூடாது. எங்க இருக்கு? அமெரிக்கா. Vosges, France region, the same mid-continental region la Italy, Mount Etna, Vosges இதெல்லாமே known for volcanism. கிளிமாஞ்சரோ இப்பதான் சொன்னேன், என்னது? Volcanoes, right? Sorry, Vosges is known for block mountains. Okay va, Fujiyama பேர்ல என்ன தெரியுது? எங்க இருக்கலாம்? ஜப்பான் ரீஜன்னா என்னவா இருக்கணும்? Convergence na obviously volcanoes. So answer is 2 and 4. Which among the following is not an intrusive volcanic landform? Crater, right? Reminding everything is intrusive in nature. That is sill, dike, idellame intrusive. Reminding every questions are based on landforms, right? Then in which among the following stages of river course does Oxbow Lake forms? Old stage lada, right? That is in the youth stage, when the river have originated from the topmost regions of a mountains, it would result in the creation of waterfalls, rapids, idellame glaciers la irundhu varumbodhu younger stage la irukum. During the slope orientation, it has resulted in deep V-shaped valleys were created in the earlier stage. It will be laterally eroded to create U-shaped valleys. But once it reaches the plain regions, obviously it takes a larger meandering way of shape. And the meandering nala outermost region, when it is get cut off from the major course of the river, that is called as Oxbow Lake. This is normally happening when larger amount of materials are eroded by a river. அப்ப larger material erode பண்றதுன்றது mature stage la தான் நடக்கும். I mean old age stage la தான் நடக்கும். Right? So Oxbow stage, Oxbow Lake is in landform which is associated with the old stage of a river. Which among the following is a fluvial erosional landform? Levees, natural levees is known for deposition. Canyons and river terraces are erosional landform, right? Or water போக போகும்போது rift, I mean the lateral erosion and the deeper erosion, both of these are happening, right? When the eroded materials are deposited along the sideward banks of the rivers, that those deposited regions are called as natural levees. But levees into the depositional landform, remaining two are erosional landform. In the same way, water erosion la romba mukkiyamaanadhu, from younger to mature. Splash erosion, sheet erosion, rill erosion and gully erosion, right? Whenever a soil is disturbed by the rainwater or drops nala splash, first the soil get disintegrated. That is the first stage. Then after it had resulted in the erosion of larger number of soils, right? Entire sheet will get eroded. Then those eroded materials along with larger flow of water creates a finger like vein projections. Third stage of erosion, rill erosion. இது ஒரு சேனலாவே கிரியேட் ஆகி larger செக்ஷனுக்கு அந்த erosion நடந்துச்சுனா that is called as gully erosion. ஓகேவா? These are all the four different stages of river erosion or water erosion. Whenever the eroding material and eroding nature are engaging in larger amount of materials. ஓகேவா? So C தான் இதுக்கான right answer. Question number 91. Stalactite and stalagmite, both of these are belonging to the karst topography. But what is the wrong here? Both of these are depositional. both of these are depositional. மேல இருந்தாலும் சரி கீழ இருந்தாலும் சரி both of these are depositional தானே தவிர erosional கிடையாது underground topography ல. So answer is 2 only, right? Then question number 94, which among the following is not an erosional glacial landform? எது erosional? Esker is a depositional landform. Arid, horn இதெல்லாமே erosional landform. But once it gets deposited in the valley region or the outermost plain regions, it had resulted in the creation of esker and moraines. அப்ப aridன்றது இங்க depositionalல வரக்கூடாது, eskerன்றது அங்க erosionalல வரக்கூடாது. ரைட்டா? இது எல்லாமே erosionalக்கான example, இது depositionக்கான example, glacial landforms. Right? So answer for this question is 1 and 3. Then question number 96, which among the following coastal erosion would form when a portion of sea arches collapse? Arches collapse ஆனதுக்கு அப்புறம் stacks, right? So first a weak area will be identified by the waves. First caves will be created. When the entire caves are getting eroded, it would result in arch. The arch oda male portion மட்டும் erode ஆனிச்சுனா stacks. Stacks further degrade ஆகி சின்னதாயிடுச்சுனா stumps. This is the way through which coastal landforms will get eroded. Right? Question number 97, which among the following coastal depositional landform connects coastal region to an island? Tombolo, right? So this is the island, coastal region, when it is connected by a combined point, na the Tombolo. Okay, remaining all other things are different names of a coastal landform. Then Inselberg is an erosional landform of Inselberg or monadnocks. கஷ்டமான டாபிக்ஸ் தான், பட் ட்ரை பண்ணுங்க. Wind erosion. When a larger elevated regions is gradually getting eroded and finally the stronger rocks within the surface may not be eroded by the winds but exposed or lingam mari formula exposed to the outer surface இருந்துச்சுனா that will be called as Inselbergs or monadnocks. It is a landform created due to wind erosion. Okay va? 98. Then 99, which among the following is not a depositional landform of desert? Yardang is an erosional landform. Yardang and Zeugen, right? Both of these are erosional landform of wind. When a wind is traveling across the region, the easy unconsolidated material will get eroded first. Softer rocks are first eroded. It had resulted in a table-like landform. All the elevated region da yardangs, right? அதே மாதிரி depositionல உள்ள different forms da loess, birchen, sieves இதெல்லாமே. Right? These are all the depositional landforms of desert region. Then finally, India's Deccan Trap formation can be categorized as in the type flood basalt volcanism, right? As a result of fault, the viscous basaltic material flows for a larger region and resulted in the elevation of a plateau. These are all the other different types of volcanisms, right? So hope through 70 to 75 questions, the entire important concepts of the universe and geomorphology have been covered. Just go through the detailed explanation of this document and you will be having a good knowledge about these entire topics, right? Thank you.